It's 1 down and 3 to go for the Cotuit Kettleers as we get ready to go from Lowell Park in Game 2 of the 2021 CCBL Western Division Finals between the Bourne Braves and the Cotuit Kettleers. Welcome back to the Kettleers pregame show, the postseason edition, everyone. Tim Crowley joined by Chris and Steph Carey, and what a day it was in Bourne yesterday. 15 runs for this Kettleers offense. They tripled the number that they had at Dorn Park all season long. The bats are rolling, and they have all the momentum coming home for Game 2.
And a day I don't think anybody expected at Dorn Park. 18 hits, 15 runs. Wow, what a performance. Hopefully they can keep that going here at Lowell Park tonight.
We talked to the Game 1 starter last night after his great performance, that being Quinn Matthews out of Stanford. 5+ innings with 9 strikeouts. The lefty was brilliant on the mound for the Kettleers. The rest of the series is going to be interesting now without that traditional starting pitching depth.
Yeah, well, starting pitching has been a concern through the latter half of the season. Quinn Matthews, his final start, he hit his innings limit. Jake Brooks, Dalton Rogers, both out. It's going to be a question who's going to be these starters in the next games moving forward should the Kettleers make it to the championship.
Once again, the Kettleers up in the series 1-0 entering Game 2. We'll dive into this pitching matchup for the day, beginning with the visiting Bourne Braves. It'll be Austin Parsley out of UNC Greensboro. Lots of strikeouts, not a lot of walks.
Definitely not. This season 3-0 with a 2.05 ERA, 26 1/3 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts. That's the number to look out for. And between him and Sansone, we don't know who the ace is. They think Parsley's going to be the guy today. Hopefully he can go a little bit longer than Sansone did yesterday at Dorn Park.
Encountering for Cotuit on this bullpen day, who will start off as the Kettleers look to piece this game together? It'll be Logan Maitland, the right-hander out of UMass Dartmouth, who has been very solid so far in a Cotuit uniform, a sub-1 ERA, and he looks to get things going on the mound in Game 2.
Well, one of the best relief options for the Kettleers since joining the club a couple of weeks ago. 1-0 with a .61 ERA over 14 2/3 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts and 10 walks. That's a number you need to watch out for. Do not put Bourne on the base paths if they don't earn it. They will capitalize, so they need to win this game, and I'm excited to see what Logan Maitland does today.
During Game 2 today, we'll be keeping an eye on the Eastern Division as well. In Game 1 yesterday, it was Brewster defending their home field with a 2-0 win over the number 2 seeded Harwich Mariners. That series shifts to White House Field in Harwich today. Brewster trying to punch their ticket to the finals. Harwich trying to force a Game 3 in Brewster. We'll keep a scoreboard watch on that today. But most importantly, business here in Cotuit. The Kettleers try to get back-to-back wins against the Bourne Braves, their 4th of the season against the number 1 seed in the West, and try to punch their ticket back to the CCBL Finals for the 2nd straight year that the Cape has played. For our keys to the game, let's send it over to our sideline reporter, Lauren Kirkley. Lauren?
Thanks, Tim. Here are my keys for tonight's game. Number 1, keep the bats rolling. With today being a bullpen day, we're going to need to see our offense maintain the same kind of power that they had last night. Number 2, length from Maitland. With plenty of arms being put to use today, getting at least 3 from this Cotuit starter is going to be crucial in piecing together a win. Number 3, break out the brooms. The atmosphere at Lowell Park right now is electric. We're looking for a sweep against Bourne. Cuts in 2. You can catch me after the game with Coach Roberts, as always, before Tim takes us home on the post-game show. But for now, let's send it up to the Carries for tonight's broadcast on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Lowell Park. This is the scene of a closeout opportunity in the Western Division for the Cotuit Kettleers. After a 15-6 onslaught over the Bourne Braves, the surging Kettleers have a chance to win at home and go to another CCBL championship. The hunt is on in front of a massive crowd here in the village. Welcome inside the booth for the Kettleers Digital Network. I'm Chris Carey, as always joined by my brother and partner, Stephen Carey. Stephen, we certainly had some fun last night, but the job is not finished yet. What do the Kettleers need to do to take care of Bourne in the 2 games finally here at Lowell Park?
Well, they need to stick to what they've done best, trust their bats, because starting pitching has been the difficulty in the later parts of this season. Lost a bunch of starters over the last few days. Quinn Matthews hit his innings limit after a masterful appearance yesterday at Bourne Park. Jake Brooks and Dalton Rogers are both gone for different reasons. And those are the 3 best starting pitchers on this team, so they're going to turn focus to somebody brand new on the mound, and the bats are going to have to help out the guys in what's sure to be a bullpen day here at Lowell Park.
Speaking of bats, we'll go right into it for Bourne. Batting first and playing shortstop, Christian Knapczyk, who was in the top 5 in average, followed by Max Anderson at third base. Dalton Rushing will play over at first and bat third. Cleaning up, Tanner Schobel at second base. They flip-flopped him and Knapczyk from yesterday's game to today. Joe Lampe in center field, batting 5th. Hunter Jump in left at 6th. 7th, Ben Huber, the DH. Benjamin Huber, the DH at 7. Little technical difficulties there. Colby Thomas in right field, and then Peter Burns behind the plate. And then the defense from left to right for Cotuit. Matt Suggs, Jace Grady, and Noah Bridges will patrol the outfield with Brett Roberts at 3rd. Ritter and Brown, the usual suspects in the middle infield. Martorella at first base. And Matt Donlin behind the plate. Carter Trice will DH for the Kettleers squad today. They want to make sure the defense is solid over at the hot corner, and I'm pretty sure we agree with that decision here in a closeout game at Lowell Park.
Yeah, well, Trice has been pretty much good for an error every 2 games or so, and that's to no fault of his own. He's not a third baseman. He's a second baseman that's playing third base. And now with Brett Roberts hitting as well as he is, you have the best of both worlds. You can choose the better glove over at the hot corner. Brett Roberts has a lot more experience at that position, and keep him in the lineup with the bat, as well as letting Carter Trice get his licks at the plate by letting him be the DH.
The battery consists of Matt Donlin, and we asked what the big question mark was going to be entering this game. It's pitching and figuring out who will be on the hill. It's Logan Maitland making his first start for the Kettleers this season.
Yep, and pretty good numbers in his games. He's 1-0 with a .61 ERA in 7 games played. He's given up 10 hits, 10 walks, and 16 strikeouts over 14 2/3 innings.
And a pretty good start. A first pitch strike. The next one, change up down, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Maitland now 1-1 against Christian Knapczyk. Stays away. Maitland has been excellent in relief, as you highlighted his ERA. Sub-1 in 7 appearances. Now we're in his 8th. 2-1 chopper over the glove of Maitland. Brown charging. Knapczyk beats out the throw. That's how the game starts. An infield single for Christian Knapczyk. Picks up his 3rd of the series.
Yeah, and that ball sort of took a weird hop. Bounced to the outside of Eric Brown, then into the inside. He had to charge it, make a sidearm throw. A good effort by number 2 there, but Knapczyk just too quick down the line. Have a leadoff base runner, and you don't want to give a high-pressure situation to Logan Maitland to start off this game.
So now Max Anderson out of Nebraska will be up for the first time at Lowell Park in the postseason. He went 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs in yesterday's game. Cotuit won 15-6 over Bourne at Bourne Park. So now Logan Maitland from the stretch. First pitch to Anderson is chopped in the hole. Ritter across the body. They got him! What a play by Ryan Ritter! Oh my goodness! Ryan Ritter.
Are you kidding me? Making that throw across his body to Nathan Martorella, who didn't have the furthest stretch, beats Max Anderson out by a hair. That's one of the best plays I think I've seen all year.
Somehow, some way, he put enough behind the ball to beat out Max Anderson. Knapczyk moves to second. There's one out for Dalton Rushing. First pitch to him. Looked like a slider that ran inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. So Rushing, 1 for 4 last night, had a single, an RBI, and 3 strikeouts to his name. All against Quinn Matthews, who was stellar in his performance.
It's pitchers like that Logan Maitland's going to really rely on. Those low changeups. Don't leave anything too high because this is an order that can and will do damage if you give them pitches up in the zone. Particularly with Max Anderson. Of course, he was retired by that incredible play by Ryan Ritter. But same can be said here about Rushing.
So Maitland's going to step off, reassess the runner at second base. 1-1. And another strike. Good pitch there from Logan Maitland.
That's his changeup. I mean, not a ton of break on it, at least to the outside, but a good amount of drop. And at 84, sort of acts like a pseudo curveball. Just don't want to hang it. Leave it low.
1-2 pitch. Just fouled away there by Rushing. It was hung a little bit, but not enough to keep it fair in play. And I think that this is a point to emphasize here, especially after Quinn Matthews' performance. Not only did he command 1 pitch, he was able to effectively utilize 4 pitches and figure it out quickly at Bourne Park. Logan Maitland still trying to settle in. 1-2. Line drive over the glove of Eric Brown. Knapczyk rounding third. Bobbled in right field. That's the first run of the game. It will belong to Bourne.
Well, and you knew they were going to come out early. They were going to come out swinging. That's exactly what Dalton Rushing did there. Found a pitch he liked. Roped it over the head of Eric Brown out to right center field. Unfortunately for Noah Bridges, he sort of bobbled it. So there was going to be no chance at the plate, but I don't know if there was one anyway with the speedy Knapczyk rounding third. Bourne has a 1-0 lead. Kettleers are going to have to come back.
Different start to this game as compared to last game. Cotuit struck first at Bourne Park. The first pitch to Tanner Schobel is a slider in for a strike. Schobel, one of the only Bourne Braves that had a very successful day at the plate against Cotuit yesterday. Went 3 for 5 with a pair of singles, a double, an RBI, and a run scored. Now he lifts one out to center field. Easy enough play for Grady, and there's the second out.
And if you're the Kettleers, you're not panicking over 1 run in the first. Bourne knows they need to put up a lot of runs in this game to keep the Kettleers out of winning this second game here at Lowell Park, because most notably the Kettleers are known for their bats, especially in this later part of the season. Been putting up runs in a hurry, particularly in 10s.
But the question will solve itself throughout the game. How will Austin Parsley do with a run of support in the bottom of the first inning? Another strike from Maitland against Joe Lampe, who went 0 for 3 but had a run scored. He was able to reach the bases. And Lampe a speed threat as well. Now in the 5th spot, has been in the top of the order, the bottom of the order. Now in the middle of the order, considering how talented he was all season long for the Bourne Braves. Lampe ended his season batting .269 with 29 hits and 11 runs batted in. You expect that much from a guy that was playing in the Pac-12 for Arizona State. As this pitch is in the dirt, Donlin playing excellent defense.
Notice something new about Maitland. Have you, Chris?
Cut his hair. Looks sharp.
I wonder if that's a playoff thing. Get rid of the flow for an important game.
2-1 to Lampe, 90 miles an hour on the outside corner. Gets the called strike by John DiGirolamo. David Perry will man the duties at first. Mike Bourne at second, and Mark Delaney, third base umpire. 2-2 pitch. Mike Beal, excuse me, at second base. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Awaiting Joe Lampe, the runner at first. Can Maitland get out of it? The pitch. He cannot. He'll walk Lampe, and Rushing was at a head start. 2 aboard now for Hunter Jump.
Fortunately for Maitland, this is the part of the order that you want to come up in this situation, but you never want to have 2 runners aboard. You've already given up a run here in the top of the first inning with a team that is going to have to piece together a game from a pitching standpoint. Bourne has the luxury of a well-practiced starter, and Logan Maitland is certainly not that in this game. He's one of the top pitchers on this team, but still a very new situation for him in the biggest game of the season.
So he gets ahead in the count at 0-1. The next pitch, try to go away. 1 ball and 1 strike. And we'll see how long Maitland goes in this game. Would it be 2 innings, 3 innings, an opener? Depends on if he can get out of innings without, over-exhausting himself. They want to use him for the playoffs.
I'm thinking 3 innings. I mean, I think that's where they want to use him, especially with no day off in between games. Should Brewster win this game and Cotuit win this game, mean another playoff game tomorrow. Like to be able to use him probably out of the bullpen one of those 3 games.
The 2-1 to Jump. Popped foul. And he's gotten back in the count. The one thing that we've seen immediately is he's missed away a lot. He likes to place the ball away from the left-handed hitters. It's right there. A car took a dent on the foul ball. Could retire Jump here on strikes. Just has to get 1 more. The pitch. Slider framed well by Donlin. Maitland thought that was a strike, and so did the Kettleers faithful on the left side.
Well, and now it brings up an interesting conversation. What is Maitland going to throw here? His fastball has not been working. He's tried to keep it outside. The changeup's probably been his best pitch. He just missed with the slider. I'm assuming it's going to be the changeup.
3-2, both runners going. Shot the other way. It's still carrying, but foul. Suggs couldn't catch up to it.
Lucky that stayed foul. Could have been extra bases. Could have been a very dangerous scenario for the Kettleers. But Maitland now has to throw another good pitch over the middle of the plate, good enough for Jump to want to offer at it, but just threw his fastball there. More than likely going to be either his fastball or his changeup. But I've been wrong before.
The payoff pitch. Got him looking. He found his spot on the back door and got out of it with 2 aboard. Bourne strikes first in the first. We head to the bottom of the first inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. Bottom of the first inning, and Alan Gladstone is firing up the troops in the left side stands. He is the Kettleers superfan, and he has done a wonderful job in the first game and now here in the second game of the playoffs as we take a look at the Bourne Braves defense. Jump, Lampy, and Thomas in the outfield. Anderson at third. Knapczyk and Schobel switch. Knapczyk will play at short. Schobel at second. Rushing at first. Peter Burns behind the plate for Austin Parsley, the right-hander out of UNC Greensboro, who has been incredibly effective for the Bourne Braves.
Sixth best in the CCBL in ERA with a 2.05. 3-0, 3 games started, 7 games played. He's given up 20 hits and only 1 walk with 36 strikeouts. I mean, just video game numbers out of this guy's hand. Like we said, a true starter, probably the ace for this team between him and Sansone. No, Bourne's hoping he has a better performance than his counterpart did last night.
First pitch to Grady. It is grounded into right field. Leadoff base hit from the one-swing king, and we've seen it so many times. The Kettleers get aboard in the first.
He's just sensational. Yesterday, 2 for 5, double, 3-run home run, and 4 runs batted in. He's going to get on base. And that's exactly what the Kettleers needed to start off this game. A leadoff base runner that has plus speed. That's exactly what Jace Grady is. That's exactly what Jace Grady does. Now Carter Trice gets to go maybe try and hit behind the runner.
First pitch to Megatron is a fastball in the outside corner. Of course, he calls himself Megatron as his nickname before the games. That's why Roy Reese says it over the PA system. And he's gotten behind in the count, but has done a good job working back into it as an offensive player as Grady goes. Peter Burns will not make a throw to second base, and Cotuit continues to test the arm of Burns behind the plate.
Good nose swing there by Trice. He does eat the strike call, but Grady got such a great jump. Burns was a little bit worried about the frame job on the pitch. Now the Kettleers have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
3 stolen bases yesterday, hoping for a lot more here against Bourne. Breaking ball, lifted into left field. Is it curling foul? It is. We thought that was going to drop in for a base hit and easily score Grady to tie up the game. Instead, Trice will see another at 0-2. Last night he went 1 for 3 with a double. We would like a double here. How about that to start off the game?
Well, and he was substituted for Eldridge Figueroa, and I think he probably has a bad taste in his mouth. He wants to go and make his presence known here in Game 2.
He's choked up on the bat, 0-2. Fastball low and away. Tight zone.
That's a good take. That is a good take. Just a little low and outside, but close enough that most hitters would swing at that one and try and get a piece.
1 ball and 2 strikes for Trice. A big gap between first and second with Rushing playing well off the bag as Trice fouls it away.
I like it when batters choke up on the bat with 2 strikes or behind in the count in general. Allows your bat speed to be that much quicker. You don't get as much extension of the bat. It's a lot like Jim Jarvis. Fight off so many pitches, work the counts deep. If he gets enough contact to the right side, he may be able to score Grady.
1-2, another good take, evens up the count.
Yep, went with a fastball downstairs. Trice didn't want any piece of it.
This is a guy you have to insert in your lineup considering his Team USA collegiate pedigree before he came to Cotuit. So much talent from the young guy. 2-2 pitch, grounded up the middle. Knapczyk will only have 1 play to first. He'll have to work quickly. Trice couldn't beat it out, but it does move Grady over 90 feet to third base.
Very effective out. Good piece of hitting by Carter Trice. And like we said, hit behind the runner. Jace Grady was running the entire time. Knapczyk only had 1 throw. And he kind of waffled that baseball over to first. Trice almost beat it out, but now you let Ryan Ritter go and get his hacks, and you know exactly what he can do in this type of situation.
Currently riding a 12-game hitting streak after yesterday, where he went 2 for 4 with a pair of singles, 2 runs scored, and a walk. First pitch to him. Takes a fastball in the outside corner for a strike.
Well, and can we even call it a 12-game hitting streak when the playoffs started yesterday? Don't know if regular season statistics count, but an 11-game hitting streak to end the season. It'd be just unbelievable numbers.
Probably more correct as Ritter Gets underneath one, and he's behind 0-2. Luckily, barring a double play, Eric Brown is waiting on deck in case Ryan Ritter can't bring Jace Grady home. But Cotuit needs to capitalize on runners in scoring position, especially with this 1-2 punch in Ritter and Eric Brown. The 0-2 from Parsley. Fouled away again.
Ritter had to swing at that one. It was close. High and outside. Got enough of it to shoot it straight back, but anything near, Ritter has to time it up and see if he can put one out into the outfield. If it's deep enough, it's going to score. Grady from third, but infield's still playing a little bit back.
0-2 pitch to Ritter. Lifted out to right field. Thomas is under it. Grady's going to tag. The throw home. Gets there in time. He holds up at third base.
When Grady sort of tried to fake him out, that was the right call. Let Eric Brown take a couple swings, see if he can drive him in. Ritter just a bit underneath it. He gets a little bit more on top of that baseball. It's far enough to score Grady, and it's a tie game here in the first.
So now Eric Brown, who went 2 for 5 with 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored, comes up for the first time in the playoffs at Lowell Park. But 2 are down. Jace Grady at third base. The pitch, and he lines that into left field. Coming on to make the catch is Jump. And he put a charge into left field. It just couldn't find any green grass. They strand Jace Grady at third. It stays 1-0 as we head to the second. Top of the second inning. Bourne leads 1-0 over Cotuit. They failed to bring Jace Grady home from third base. Now the bottom of the order with Hubert, Thomas, and Burns are due up against Logan Maitland. Had 1 run against him in the first inning, hoping to do a little bit better here in the second and not allow any more damage from the Bourne Braves offense, who you know are itching to respond to last night's 15-6 loss at their home turf here at Lowell Park.
Well, you know, the Kettleers had their success with Bourne the last time they were here at Lowell Park, a 13-2 win. Then, of course, they went to Dorn Park to end the season and lost 13-1. So hopefully it's not a similar situation with the Kettleers winning 15-6 last night and a role reversal with Bourne coming in and having all the offensive power in this game.
1 ball and 1 strike. Make it a ball and 2 strikes to Huber, who went 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and an RBI yesterday. He's out of UConn. His teammate right behind him, the catcher, Matt Donlin. 1-2, ring him up, strike 3. Back-to-back looking strikeouts issued by Logan Maitland. And the first, and now to start the second.
Logan Maitland is one of those pitchers that continuously gets better as his game moves forward. So, like, he'll start off in his first inning of work, be a little bit shaky, second inning slightly better, third inning even better than that. Starts to get into a rhythm.
First pitch low and away to Colby Thomas. Went 0 for 4 with a run scored. He's out of Mercer. Thomas had a nice throw home to stop Jace Grady from tagging up from third base. He's been all over the outfield, mostly a corner outfield guy, right field and left field. With Hunter Jump manning the 7 spot, Thomas with his arm will be the right fielder for Bourne's playoff future. As he half swings that one fouled over the dugout of the Bourne Braves. Looks like a bat boy might go up and get that one. Maitland looking for a much quicker inning. 2-1. 91 on the inside for a called strike, evens it up. The fastball seems to be working best here, but when he's been able to command the slider away, especially against right-handed hitters, it has been a hard pitch to hit for Bourne. 2-2, goes with the slider away, but didn't keep it in the zone.
Well, it's pitches like that with the slider that have been his struggle. He starts him off too far outside.
3-2, lined into left field. Well, he did leave it over the middle, threw it for a strike. That's the third hit given up by Logan Maitland. And with one out, Colby Thomas is at first base.
Well, now you have the number 9 hitter coming up. Righty-lefty matchup. Peter Burns does have power at his disposal. Had a couple of hits during the regular season. I want to see if you can get a ground ball here, maybe get 2 for the price of 1.
There is a ground ball, but it's foul. 0-1. Burns went 0 for 2 with a strikeout, looking in a pop-out before being in a defensive substitution with Dalton Rushing, who went behind the plate. Jarvis came to hit for him in the last 2 at-bats in that number 9 spot. Peter Burns trying to have a more successful day at the plate for the Bourne Braves here at Lowell Park. The 0-1, runner going. Donlin, throw down to second base. It is in time. He slid over the bag. Lost the handle at second base, and Ritter was right there to apply the tag. Lucky break for Cotuit, and a great throw by Matt Donlin.
Yeah, just a bit high. Didn't have a ton of time to work with on that throw. Ryan Ritter kept the tag on Colby Thomas. Now Logan Maitland has 2 outs, empty bases to work with. Good situation here.
You want to get Peter Burns here, as he has been missing away with the changeup against left-handed hitters. 2-1. Popped up. That'll do. Eric Brown calling everyone off in shallow center field and making the catch. 1, 2, 3 for Logan Maitland. We head to the bottom of the second on the Kettleers Digital Network. Bridges, Roberts, and Martorella due up in the bottom of the second inning, hoping to score the first, if not more, runs for the Kettleers to match the Bourne Braves. And this bottom of the order just keeps going as Bridges, Roberts, and Matt Suggs in the second inning really got it going for Cotuit with those 3 runs, one of them being a 2-run home run from Matt Suggs. But it all started off with a leadoff single from Noah Bridges. So he takes a pitch for a strike on the inside corner, making it 0-1. And Bridges went 2 for 5 yesterday with a single, a run scored, and an RBI. 2 singles, I should say. The 0-1 popped up. Parsley calling everybody off in foul ground, and he can't make the catch. How about that? He was very confident in his execution, and then it was flawed as he dropped it in foul ground. A good gift for Noah Bridges as he'll head back to the batter's box at an 0-2 count.
And this is why pitchers usually are called off the baseball. They aren't typically known for their defensive prowess. Parsley was adamant about catching that baseball. Didn't secure it with 2 hands, popped out of his glove, and now Bridges gets another chance. It could make him pay right here.
He gets the sign. Here's the pitch. Good take. It was low, but not by much. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bridges has been incredibly consistent for the Cotuit Kettleers since arriving on the Cape. Came out of nowhere. 1-2, swing and a miss. Nice changeup to the outside corner. There's the first out of the second inning.
That's the first strikeout for Parsley. Got himself back after putting himself in a jam. Dropped that pop-up. But I talked to Noah Bridges yesterday. I said, hey, you had a pretty good approach at the plate. You had an RBI and 2 hits. And he said, still not good enough. I'm not good enough until I go 4 for 4 or however many at-bats I'm in. I mean, just a great approach for him.
First pitch to B-Rob is taken for a strike. And we've seen him start to develop more into the count than when he started. Likes to swing at the first couple of pitches. Takes another, this time a ball 1-1. Roberts went 1 for 5 with a double that should have been a home run. Ruled it a ground rule double in the second inning. Cleared the fence. Big swing there, puts him behind 1-2.
It was one of the most bizarre calls I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there were fans that were saying, this ball was 25 feet over my head. Joe Lampe just reacted to it. What happened was he put his hands to his face like, man, 2-run tank just got hit off of us in the second inning. And the umps took it as, I lost the ball. I lost the ball. I mean, it's just one of the most bizarre things I think I've ever seen.
1-2, chopper up the middle for Knapczyk. He'll make the throw over to first for the second out. Christian Knapczyk looking comfortable over at shortstop. When talking to Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates, Stefan, they said that Knapczyk is not as good in terms of his throwing speed as Tanner Schobel. But his ability to get to the ball quickly might be useful here against the Kettleers as Martorella is up for the first time. Had himself a career night yesterday. 3 for 5 with a home run, a double, and a single, as well as a trio of RBIs. We'll take a strike there to make it 1-1.
We may be seeing the birth of playoff Marty here. Just one of the top players on this team when he gets consistent at bats out of the University of California. The thing about him is when he throws his hands at the baseball, that's when he starts generating solid contact. We saw it with an opposite field home run yesterday, just hugging the left field foul pole. We haven't seen very much of that all season in the Cape Cod Baseball League, just not very much opposite field power. Got a little bit of help from the wind, but got to give credit where it's due.
1-2, it's popped up. Will it stay in play? Burns and Anderson. Anderson is under it in foul ground. A 1-2-3 inning for Parsley to match Maitland's. We head to the third on the Kettleers digital network. Top of the third inning, Logan Maitland back out doing great work. Only one run allowed. Stephen Carey joined by a very special guest, Steve Peralt,
Yes.
host of the Section 10 podcast and an employee at Barstool Sports and with WEEI.
A little bit of everything, yeah, and Bleacher Report. Shout out to them as well.
A renaissance man. No shameless plugs when you have somebody that represents those organizations, right?
Exactly. This is a nice view you guys got up here. This is legit.
That's what we strive to be as professional as possible here. If you can't tell that we're looking like we're gonna lead a youth group meeting in our outfits
I'm
today.
impressed. I feel underdressed. I have my Mark McGuire 99 jersey on, but whatever. I got to represent some baseball up here.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. As the pitch to Napchek fades away and he swings and misses, it's 1-2. Last time he was up, he got an infield single to start off the game, and Maitland doing good work. So, Steve, you are obviously a Cape Cod Baseball League fan. You
Yes, diehard.
threw out the first pitch at the Bourne Braves game.
Yes.
Obviously, their fans went home a little bit salty after the result,
salty.
a 15-6 win for the Kettleers.
It got negative quick. I would say the Bourne Braves fans were trying to cheer as much as they could, but they had nothing to root for, so that was unfortunate. But no, I've been coming to Cape League games since the 90s. I love the Cape League. We rooted for the Harwich Mariners growing up. We had a place in Harwich, and then now we have a place in Chatham, so going for the Anglers, who used to be the A's. So, yeah, definitely love watching the Cape League.
Napchek up the middle, diving attempt by Ritter, and that'll sneak through for a leadoff base hit. A 2-for-2 day for Napchek. Once again, Bourne has a leadoff man aboard here in the top of the third inning.
I gotta say, so by the way, and sorry to cut you off, I gotta say, and this isn't to suck up to you guys, but Lowell Park and the setup here is A1. I think this is, we've been to all the parks in the Cape League, this is as good as it gets when you're coming to a Cape League field. It's perfect. It's like a field of dreams.
That's pretty much how it was described to us when we took this job. Kind of this hidden gem nestled in between the trees in this village of Cotuit. The thing that sticks out the most to me is the community aspect of it. That's why we chose to come up here and has been one of our favorites as Max Anderson digs in for the second time. Slider to him, gets the call. It's 0-1. So obviously, as a Red Sox fan, a host of the Section 10 podcast, you had a pretty big episode.
Yes, Chaim Bloom was on a couple days ago, which was great. I think he was using that as therapy so he could maybe chill off a little bit from reading all the negative comments about the lack of moves during the trade deadline. But Chaim's awesome. Chaim's real. There's no BS with Chaim. I love that he keeps it real, and he kept it real with us, which was good. Red Sox, though, they got to win. It's 0-0 right now. I'm doing my Red Sox update. 0-0 in the sixth inning of a doubleheader out there in Toronto. The Blue Jays are on fire. So I'm worried about the Blue Jays. I'm worried about the Rays. I hate to say it. I'm going to whisper it. I'm worried about the Yankees a little bit. But we'll see what happens with the Sox.
As Anderson waves on another slider, and it's 0-2. You know, our own Peter Flaherty, who is our GM intern, scout liaison, actually works in the scouting department for the New York Yankees, so I'm sure he's listening and pretty happy about how his Yankees have been doing after the trade deadline. But this is an interesting simulation of what it's like to see professional baseball. I think there's no better league in America that shows you the next brightest stars coming up through the ranks.
Yeah.
What have you seen here in the last couple of games that you've been able to watch? And what hope do you have for these young players about to take the next step in their careers? Obviously, Cotuit lost 11 or 12 players to the draft or to signings.
Yeah.
Unlike anything, as Ritter will take it himself. Possible double play, and he gets it. Lots of action this inning. I feel
Honestly,
like I'm cutting you off.
Honestly, I was going to say, I love the tandem up there at short and second. I haven't been able to follow the Cape League as closely as I'd like this year. I'm trying to balance 3 jobs, basically. But these guys, they have chemistry, which is really good. I was checking the stat sheet. They seem to be the leaders in all offensive stats for you guys. And they have a handshake, which is very important. If you're going to be good, you have to have a handshake, and they have that. So love to see it.
Well, they were coined as the greatest amateur middle infield that our coach Mike Roberts in his 40 years of coaching has ever seen.
I was going to say, Roberts has been coaching since the 1700s, so if he said that, then obviously it matters. But you can tell. It's all about chemistry, and they have it.
Well, a pretty interesting statistic that we go back to with Ritter in particular at shortstop. On July 21st, he was hitting .218. Ended the season at .330.
That's impressive. Yeah, my baseball knowledge means he got a lot of hits in that time frame. Again, if you watch the game a lot, you know that you can raise your average by getting hits. And so I know that, you know that. Not everybody knows that. So I'm sure he went on a ridiculous stretch. I mean, Bourne started very hot. I'm trying to basically get all of my knowledge on these teams in about 2 days. Bourne was very hot. They lost some key players, but Cotuit seems to be cruising at the right point. That was a good pitch. I need strike 3 there. even though I'm playing neutral today because I threw out the first pitch for Bourne yesterday, but he was walking off the mound. That should have been strike 3. That should have been the end of the inning.
Well, your color scheme actually points in favor of Bourne right now. You look like you could
does.
actually go out there and take a couple hacks yourself if you wanted to.
Yeah, minus my lack of any ability at this level. I would definitely be the pitcher in an NL game. Just watch 3 strikes, get out of there, and just try to have a good day on the mound.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
we need pitching. That's good. We lost 3 of our starters to injury or otherwise going into these playoffs as he gets the call, rings him up.
Perfect.
That's strikeout number 3. We'll be back with the bottom of the third with Steve Peralt and Stephen Carey on the Kettleers Digital Network. Another pretty frame by Logan Maitland. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. Now we're in the bottom of the third. 8, 9, and 1 due up. Suggs, Donlin, and Grady. Suggs had a 2-run home run in yesterday's game. Big momentum shifter that pretty much was much to the chagrin of the umpires. That's all I'll say. Stephen Carey, Chris Carey, Steve Peralt here on the Kettleers Digital Network. And Steve, so great to have you here in the booth. Chris actually joining us here. He wanted to get in on all the fun.
It is a lot of fun here. You just have really cool people coming through the Cape, and somebody who's a media professional going all over the place with Bleacher Report, with Barstool. And, the first thing that comes to mind with me is you are across so many different mediums, whether you do stuff with WEEI, Barstool Sports, Bleacher Report, full-time there. How do you transition from the different jobs on the air?
No, that's a great question. It's you gotta find gaps to do as much as you can for each one and keep everybody happy. I think that's the main thing. I don't want anybody pissed off at me, so I give as much time as I can to BR because that's a full-time thing. Section 10 takes a ton of time. We do 2 shows a week. I love when we can have interviews like Heimblum this week, and then EEI is a weekend thing. So I told Rob Bradford, I'm like, hey, you got it today. I'll be back tomorrow on air for the post-game show. But I had to see my guys up here in Cotuit. So obviously way more important doing this than doing that because this is, I'm being honest, this is one of my favorite parks, and I've always wanted to be in the booth, and this is kind of one of my dreams. So I'm happy I can do it.
Well, it feels like a dream for us, really, just having such great personalities come through this summer as Suggs swings and misses for the second strikeout of the game for Austin Parsley. And Lowell Park, just the greatest venue that really could speak about on the Cape. It's rivaled by a couple of other ballparks in terms of the field, but I think when you take everything into account with the fans, with the history, nothing beats it here. And I did grow up going to Turner Field, though, so the expectations are a little bit lower as Donlin rips the first pitch foul.
We went there ages ago for a Sox-Braves series, and it was like 8,000 degrees. But no, Turner Field was good. Turner Field wasn't around for that long. I mean, you guys had it from the Olympics to 20 years later, and then it was Truist Park, which really flows off the tongue.
This one gets in on the hands of Donlin. He skies it out to center field. Lampy will make the catch for the second out of the inning.
Well, you talk about it being 8,000 degrees, and it kind of is today.
So it's humid today.
If you want to hang out in the air conditioning, be our guest, because this really is the safe haven of Lowell Park.
No, I'm going to tell you, I will definitely chill here. You got the Red Sox game on in the back, which is great. The cell connection at this place, that's my only complaint. It's terrible. So definitely got to fix that. I might steal your Wi-Fi, but everything else has been good.
We can get you on the intern Wi-Fi. This time Grady doesn't swing at the first pitch. Doesn't work out for him.
It's real highbrow stuff.
I know.
Wi-Fi.
We got intern Wi-Fi here in Cotuit. Sounds good. Oof.
Now it evens up at 1-1.
About to pull a Dennis Eckersley. I got to have that pitch, but I got to remember where I am. I'm in the Cotuit booth. That was a ball. Absolutely was, always was, and hopefully you guys can tie it up here.
Were you there from? Were you there at first pitch yesterday?
Yes.
Did you happen to see? I don't know if you remember
the ground rule double fiasco.
Yes.
What was that? I couldn't see what happened.
Well, we're donning it double gate, and it just it is as bad as it gets in terms of umpiring. That ball, we interviewed some fans after the game. They said it was 25 to 30 feet over our heads.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Let's just say, we were not as kind to the umpires during our radio broadcast. I think at one point
you were like, "You guys stink." That's probably what you said.
Well,
really big word there.
Well, the umpire behind the plate was Mickey Garcia.
Yeah.
So I said, Mickey must work at Disney because he's living in a fantasy land right now if he thinks that's a ground rule double.
That's very good. That is very good. Here's the thing, though, and I was telling this to my dad. I'm like, Cotuit fan, flipping out. I love the passion, but it kind of felt like you were going to get the runs anyway, and you got the runs anyway, so it didn't really matter. But
that's the point. Yeah, as Grady gets in off the end of the bat, and Lampy will charge in and make the catch. That's how the third inning ends. And Steve, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
One of the most excellent opportunities about coming up here is just meeting people like yourself. As the Kettleers charge on for their 18th championship, let's see what the fourth has in store on the Kettleers Digital Network. Top of the fourth inning, Tanner Schobel at the plate. Logan Maitland coming in, and looks like they're going to keep him in the game. One run through 3 innings already. Pretty good outing for number 47, as Schobel will take a look at another pitch and make it 1-1. He flew out to center field his last time up. This is a game of huge consequence. Should the Kettleers be able to win, they would face the winner of Harwich and Brewster. If they lose, it's a game at Bourne Park tomorrow. We all know that is a place that is very difficult to win 2 games, not only in the length of an entire season, but in a playoff race. As it's now 3-1 to Schobel. Maitland with the hair clip. This may be a new look. He fires in the 3-1 pitch. It's upstairs, and that's a leadoff walk. Let's see if this prompts Mike Roberts to come out of the dugout and maybe make a change. He's often very aggressive at the start of innings.
And, in this situation, the leadoff walk is not the greatest thing with Joe Lampe coming up, but you still have confidence in your starting pitcher. You want him to go longer than you think, especially considering if Brewster wins today and Cotuit wins today, you're going to go quick tomorrow into the championship. There's no off day in between. Now, if Harwich were to force a Game 3, that would be helpful for Cotuit to have a needed off day to rejuvenate those arms, but just don't know at this point.
Joe Lampe, one of the 2 walk recipients in this game. Of course, the last one, Tanner Schobel, who stands on first base. And the first pitch, 92. That's the fastest I think we've seen him throw today. Gets the outside corner and a called strike. Maitland has worked out of jams. 1 run is one thing. The bats have been pretty silent for the Kettleers in this outing. Want to do it again. As another fastball misses.
Well, if you think silent, after Jace Grady had the leadoff single in the first pitch of the offensive half, everybody's been out after that. There's been no base runners other than Grady in the first inning.
Maitland throws over to first, and he's done his job, in my eyes. He's done his job unless things start to get out of hand in this inning. To get 3 innings, get through a third of the game with only 1 run of damage, with how the bats have been hitting, as Lampe squares around a bunt. It's a slider that almost got away from Donlin. Good recovery.
And you're still not going to run on Donlin at this point. Even if it gets away, a late break, a late jump, he has the cannon behind the plate to throw you out second base.
For the game, he was honored with the top New England Player of the Year for the Cape Cod Baseball League. Great award for Matt Donlin. Well deserving. One of the best defensive catchers I've ever seen. Arguably the best in this entire league. The 1-2 pitch. Softly lifted out towards center, and that's going to get down for a base hit. 2 are aboard with nobody out. Here in the top of the 4th inning for Bourne. They're starting something here. Let's see if Maitland's day is done. Mike Roberts putting on his cap. He's going to have a stroll over to the mound. This is the type of situation where he pulls a pitcher. And it is. So we will take a brief break to find out who's coming in relief. Great work by Logan Maitland on the Kettleers Digital Network. New pitcher aboard for the Kettleers. It's Trevor Kunkel, and we knew it was coming at some point. It came after 3+ innings of work for Logan Maitland. He gave up 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts, but 2 men are aboard. They could possibly be inherited by Maitland if they manage to come across the score with nobody out. Kunkel has been very, very good. Now Hunter Jump at the plate. The infield playing in. He shows Bunny, popped it up. Matt Donlin will give chase, but it hits the fence. Gets out of play.
If he had gotten to that ball, he would be getting an award for quickest catcher as well in the CCBL. That had a lot of pace behind the ball. You see the strategy that Jump is trying to employ here, move both runners over. It's just ABC, taking a page out of Coach Roberts' book from yesterday. But he has to get that bunt down. And the defense is lined up in a wheel play as Roberts will come in to crash in on the left side, bunt. Ritter would cover third base there if there's a play on.
Doesn't show bunt this time. Pretty backdoor slider gets the called strike. It's 0-2.
And a strikeout here is almost essential. If you can do that, set up that offense in a situation where you could effectively create a double play ball with 1 out, you could get out of it unscathed. Kunkel's the man to do it. 0-0, 2.89 ERA, 6 games, none started, 9.1 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, but 5 walks.
Kunkel's going to fire in and step off. Little pump fake there. Got a little overexcited. Like you said, Chris, if he can manage to strike out Hunter Jump, Kettleers are going to be jumping for joy because they have 1 out in a double play situation in effect. 0-2 from Kunkel. Went with a fastball, missed outside. 94, very different speeds than what Logan Maitland was dealing, around the low 90s range. Wonder if that's going to have any type of effect on these Bourne hitters. Revving it up a little bit. 1-2. High fly ball lifted out to right center field. Jace Grady tracking back at the wall, gone. And Bourne has made it a 4-0 ball game. If we were at Doran Park, may have only scored 1, a ground rule double. But at the dimensions at Lowell, it's a 4-0 ball game.
And that's the type that hurts the Kettleers there. Ahead in the count at 0-2, leaves one over the middle directly. That was a high fly ball to right center field, and it was gone. And Coach Roberts is appealing to the umpire there that Jump actually rounded in front of Joe Lampe on the home run. And that would at least get 1 run back for the Kettleers to make it 3-0. And to my viewpoint, he did look like he went around. So this has been a very weird series for home runs to start. Jump got a little ahead of himself, and I think that he did go in front of Lampe.
And you're absolutely right, Chris. Jump would have gotten ahead of himself because Lampe was freezing for the fly ball. That ball didn't look like it was going to get out. It just kept carrying and carrying and carrying over the right center field wall. See how the umpires discuss this. Looks like it's going to stay 4-0. So with the second hit of the inning, Hunter Jump gives a 4-0 lead for Bourne here in the top of the 4th. Maitland will inherit 2 of those runs. Final line for him. 3 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Already 6 hits today for Bourne, and you knew they were going to come out swinging. You had to know that they were going to have a sour taste in their mouth, that they were going to come out firing, trying to extend this to a Game 3 at Doran Park. Now it's Benjamin Huber. That fastball's on the inside corner and a called strike, making it 0-2.
Negative, you just had a 3-run home run hit off of you. Positive, the bases are clear and you can work on your own now. Try and get 3 outs without causing anybody to get aboard.
Little nubber back towards the pitcher. Kunkel will flip to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Chris, I like that. We try to be a glass half full broadcast.
Well, it's hard not to be after everything went so well with the Kettleers. Very minimal adversity yesterday at Doran Park. Now today they're presented a different type of scenario. Bats have to start coming alive as you dip into your bullpen more and more. We have a game on our hands, but the offense has to respond.
Fastball runs in and hits Colby Thomas. He'll walk over to first. It's a tough spot right on the back of that left knee. The inning continues. And unfortunately for Kunkel, and I'll say this very candidly and in a way that isn't super demeaning to him, this is probably not his best outing. His numbers were pretty good during the regular season. Then comes in, gives up a 3-run homer, left it too far over the middle of the plate. Let's see if he can get out of this jam. Got to tip your cap to Logan Maitland, who did great work in the starting role. Now Peter Burns up. Popped out to second base to end the second inning. Let's see if he can end the fourth here. One-0 pitch to Burns. And it gets the called strike, evened up at 1-1.
So the method now at this point is to draw light contact. The ground ball sets up a double play situation for Brown and Ritter. You get out of the inning at 4-0. Hope that your offense, Trice, Ritter, and EBJ do up, which is the best part of the order to start off with anyway. And start producing in the bottom of the fourth.
And you don't have to get all out at once. You just have to chip away at this lead. A run or two over the next couple of innings could put you in a good position. Then it goes down to the bullpen. Kettleers are already into theirs, but Bourne will be very soon. So he goes the other way. Matt Suggs will make the catch, hugging the line, and there's the second out of the inning.
That is a phenomenal read in left field by Suggs. That was teed off to left field. He was moving towards the ball before even the swing was made and got there directly underneath. You keep Colby Thomas at first base and turn it over to the top of the order in Knapczyk, who's already got a pair of singles.
Knapczyk 2 for 2 on the day, like you mentioned, Chris. Hopefully that stops right here. As Kunkel offers a changeup that misses outside. Knapczyk has been the best hitter on this Bourne Braves team. Pretty much booted Joe Lampe from the leadoff spot just because they wanted to get him more consistent ABs. It's 1-0, runners going. Matt Donlin's going to have a chance. That one was not a good throw. Eric Brown was there for the backup. Colby Thomas finally gets his stolen base after being nabbed in the second inning. He's in scoring position for Knapczyk.
You're in a very good position here with Knapczyk now at the plate, looking for his third hit. Has been able to see the ball so well, but now in relief, Kunkel has a chance to possibly either get him to roll over or strike him out, but he has to start throwing strikes. He's behind at 2-0.
So there's a fastball up in the zone, and a called strike makes it 2 balls and 1 strike. Just need to get out of this inning and let the bats go to work in the bottom of the fourth. Fortunately, the most dangerous hitter on this team stands in the box. Knapczyk on the season. 321, 35 hits, and 11 runs batted in. Hitters count. Kunkel needs to fire in a strike. The pitch. And he does. Delayed strike call by John DeGirolamo. Works the count full at 3-2.
Knapczyk thought he was going to reach base for the third time off of that pitch, tossed the bat and everything, and now has to defend the plate at 3-2.
Payoff pitch. Shot back foul, and we'll do it over again. Three-two. Knapczyk, little looper, out towards left field. Suggs coming on. That's a fair ball. He's going to try a play at the plate. Donlin applies the tag, but it's too late. Suggs had a good throw. Knapczyk has a 3-hit day as well as an RBI to make it 5-0 for Bourne.
Suggs couldn't get to it. It drops in. Knapczyk does what he does best. Light contact. It's 5-0.
Not the best outing by Kunkel. He's given up a home run and a double. Max Anderson fouls one to the right side. Bourne looking like a completely different team. Seem to be rejuvenated almost overnight. This is a sizable crowd for Cotuit. See if this energy can help them get out of this hole over the next couple of innings. Of course, you have to take into consideration, though the game started at 4 o'clock, you know where I'm going with this, Chris. Darkness, the light. Bourne manages to put together more big innings and then works to their bullpen. You never know what can happen. 0-2. Got him on the outside corner. Trevor Kunkel records his first strikeout of the evening. Kettleers are going to have to work from behind, down 5 runs. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Carter Trice will come up to lead off the 4th inning. This is the part of the order you want up in this situation. Kettleers down by 5. Need to get something going. It starts with Carter Trice here with Austin Parsley back out for his 4th inning of work.
And now Parsley can just go out there and pitch. Throw strikes, see what happens. There's a bunch of runs to spare. You're facing a lethal part of the order that if they can get things going, they score in bunches.
1-1. Trice swings and misses at an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. It was elevated. That's the key. The high fastball is the pitch that hitters have struggled with. Said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. As Trice shoots one out towards right center field, giving chase is Thomas. He'll make the catch. Sort of lazily went for that ball. Looked like it may have had a chance to get down, but Trice gave one a ride. He's down for the first out of the inning. Fortunately, Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown are the next two due up.
Well, this Cotuit offense has been able to show that they can score in bunches. I mean, yesterday is good enough highlight as many, or as any, I should say. 3 runs in the 2nd, 4 in the 3rd, and a big 5-run 6th.
And Ritter gets underneath one. Out towards Lampy in center field. Still tracking back and making the catch. Just a few feet shy of the wall in dead center. Doesn't seem like there's too much wind, but the ball has been carrying quite a bit in this game.
They've made hard contact with the ball. Only 2 ground outs. The rest have been flyouts and lineouts to the outfield. But Parsley just trusting his defense, and it's worked out so far. They're up 5 runs. He can just go leave him over the middle and hope his defense works for him.
Eric Brown up for the 2nd time. He lined out to left field. And this is a guy that has made a ton of solid contact, just hasn't been bailed out. Good defensive plays have hurt him in terms of what Bourne's been able to do and throughout the season. Just makes contact. Very rarely do you see him strike out. But now he's behind in the count, 0-2 from Parsley.
That was a really good frame job by Burns behind the plate. He stole a strike there. EBJ having to work behind the count this time after a first pitch swing in the first inning.
Burns lined up way outside. Parsley hit his spot, but it was just way off the plate. Good take by Brown to make it 1-2. You only have so much time for your Cotuit. You need a base runner. And Brown swings and misses, foul tipped in the glove of Burns. That's the third strikeout of the game for Parsley, and a 1-2-3 inning for the third straight inning. We'll go to the fifth on the Kettleers Digital Network. Top of the fifth inning, Cotuit trails 5-0 against the Bourne Braves. Dalton Rushing, Tanner Schobel, and Joe Lampe are due up against Trevor Kunkel, whose outing started with a 2-strike, 3-run home run by Hunter Jump. That made it 4-0, and then an RBI single from Christian Knapczyk, his third single of the game, brought it to 5-0. So Cotuit having to come back in a situation at Lowell Park. And so far, Bourne has been able to respond to the Kettleers after their 15-6 win yesterday at Doran. And Kunkel misses again, making it 2 balls and no strikes to Rushing, as an RBI single and a strikeout looking. The 2-0 pitch. There's a strike. 94 miles an hour, so Kunkel able to rev it up.
That may be the best pitch he's thrown all day. I mean, just a high fastball with life, great movement in on the hands of the batter.
Gets him to wave at that one as well.
Maybe I spoke too soon. That might be the best one on the outside corner. He's starting to dial in with that fastball. It's something that Maitland wasn't doing particularly well. He was missing outside with his fastball. Kunkel, much better command of that pitch in particular, but he's got to work his way out of really 5-0 deficit.
The count runs full again. Now this is the big thing. He's been able to pitch the fastball effectively, somewhat down the middle. Now away, he has had problems. The 3-2. There it is. A leadoff walk and another one for the Kettleers. That's how the big fourth inning started for Bourne, and now in the fifth, it's beginning again.
Well, once again, another leadoff runner for Bourne. This is the fourth inning that's happened in this game. The only exception was the second, where Braves went down in order. Leadoff strikeout looking by Benjamin Huber in the second inning. But again, Bourne getting their base runners. Cotuit just not doing the same. It's a lot because of Austin Parsley and the great work he's done on the mound for the Braves.
Now Schobel takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. And this team has been better
as of fairly late at responding in games like this, but they have to get going. The 0-1. Prettiest slider we've seen all day among both teams. Not Schobel way out in front, and now it's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and a big strikeout for Kunkel here in the 5th. That's his second of the outing. But you look at the way that Cotuit's offense has operated in this game. Jace Grady started off hot, a first pitch base hit. After that, the last 12 have been retired by Parsley and the Bourne defense. That is not a number you want to look at. Good strike there against Joe Lampe, who had a single last time up in the last inning. It was a big inning. 8 batters came to the plate. No balls and 1 strike. In the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lampe's reached base twice, a single, a run scored, and a walk in the first inning. 1-1. That runs in. No call behind the plate by John DiGirolamo. Vastly different start to this game as compared to yesterday at Bourne. As we've alluded to plenty of times already, but Cotuit has to bear down offensively as Lampe fouls it away. And how do you do that? You start putting the small things together. Bridges, Roberts, and Martorella due up again. They were the same order in the second inning. All you need is a base runner. We've said we want to print that on a t-shirt, move the runner over, steal some bases, test Peter Burns, get a big first run, and assess from there. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. And another 3-2 situation.
Well, and Kunkel just needs to throw one over the middle of the plate. Lampe not known for being a power hitter. During the season, hit .269 with 29 hits and 11 runs batted in, no home runs. So you need something in a gap.
3-2 gets him on the inside corner. That is the 3rd strikeout for Kunkel. And a back-to-back here in the 5th.
Great location, used the inside corner to his advantage, and once again, that's the pitch that's been working. He amasses the total that Maitland was able to put together through 3 innings of work. But keep riding that fastball. It has energy, it has movement, it has speed. That's the pitch that's going to work for Kunkel.
Jump pokes the bat head out and fouls it away. He's the home run hero so far for the Bourne Braves with a deep 3-run home run to center field that just kept carrying after an 0-2 count against Kunkel. There's more right center, but still, regardless, put a lot of power behind the baseball, and it helped him out with his team. Kunkel will throw over to first. Martorella doesn't cover the bag very often. Just wants to keep Dalton Rushing at bay. Don't think that he's a run threat per se. You just never know what could happen. 0-1 to jump. Fastball low and away. So commanding that fastball in has not been the problem for Trevor Kunkel. It's been outside with the fastball and slider as well. 1-1 pitch. Now inside, he drops it low. 2 balls and a strike. And I don't predict the future, but I assume we will see more bullpen arms than just one, which we only used one yesterday. Harrison Cohen picked up the save after 4 innings of relief. Kunkel now a pop up to left field. Slipping is Suggs, but he makes the catch. Oh my goodness, from the seat of his pants, he tripped and somehow recovered in left field.
Great recovery by Suggs. There are moments where you forget he's a catcher. That wasn't one of them. It wasn't pretty. but he found a way to track the baseball and keep Bourne off the scoreboard for his 6th run of game.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. A possible spark defensively after a flyout to left that Matt Suggs tripped and fell and somehow miraculously made a catch to end the top of the 5th inning. Brings up Noah Bridges, Brett Roberts, and Nathan Martorella in that order for the 2nd time here in the 5th after doing it in the 2nd. Bridges against Parsley, struck out swinging. Kettleers hitters are 0 for their last 12, as we alluded to before. First pitch away, 1 ball and no strikes. And Bridges, he's not going to get cheated in the strike zone. All you need is a base runner, the 1-0. Bridges grounded foul, make it 1-1.
Yeah, just a bit out in front on that one. Might be able to yank it down that first baseline. He's a little bit later on it. But Parsley has had his way with these hitters. I mean, you look at the scorebook, plenty of zeros for the Kettleers. Very different for Bourne. And it starts here. It starts with this part of the order, turning it over. They had their success at the plate with Martorella, with Suggs, and with Donlin. Bridges did have an RBI yesterday, but he'd love to get it started right here in the bottom of the 5th.
1-1, breaking ball stays up, 2 balls and a strike. We've said this many times, Stefan, the game is going to be won by the offense and not by the pitching. Respectfully speaking, the pitching has been decent over the last 2 games. However, they don't have an actual starter anymore, considering Jake Brooks, Dalton Rogers, and Quinn Matthews have left either with injury or shutting down with innings limits. Bridges fouls it away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the bats have to come alive, and right now they are quiet at Lowell Park, which is to the surprise of many.
Well, and you could say many again. This is quite the turnout here at Lowell. Fans have come from far and wide to watch the Kettleers play. I mean, we were here last night after the game at Bourne Park setting up chairs for our family because we knew it was going to be a madhouse here. It really doesn't do it justice until you're here at this ballpark. The entire left field side is completely lined with lawn chairs.
Bridges, sliced foul.
And then, of course, the stands are at 100% capacity. And then the walls in the outfield are also completely full. So everybody's just trying to get a piece, hoping the Kettleers can put something together here, these middle to late innings, not have to force a game 3.
2-2 to Bridges. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Peter Burns thought he had him for the 3rd strike, was about to throw down around the horn.
Yeah, I don't blame him on that one. There have been some close calls using the inside corner. Good take by Bridges, but he's lucky. I think a centimeter to the left of us. That's a strike call.
3-2. Chopper to Schobel. He'll throw to first for the first out. So a long at-bat from Noah Bridges results in nothing. Now bringing up Brett Roberts. We talk about the 3 C's that have showed up at this game. A Cotuit capacity crowd, which is the only way you can say it. It is quite quite the sight. Now, the eyes are probably not happy with the scoreline, but hoping their offense can do something here in the 5th as Roberts goes back to Schobel again. Quick throw to first, and 2 quick outs for Parsley. He has been dominant so far. 14 straight batters retired. From the fly out, the ground out, the strikeout, whatever you have. And now the lefty, Nathan Martorella, will come up after popping out in foul ground his last time up. First pitch to him, a changeup away. One ball and no strikes to Martorella. And a nasty pitch.
And that pitch shouldn't have been as filthy as it was. 89, ran to the inside, just a slower fastball with some break.
High fly ball to right center field. Lampy moving back and making the catch just shy of the wall. Martorella gave it a ride. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Austin Parsley. Logan Adams on to make his Cape League playoff debut. The right-hander heading to NC State out of Wilmington, North Carolina, 6'6", 235 pounds. He has a 14.72 ERA in 3 games. He's started none, 3 2/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 8 hits. Had a better performance against Bourne in that big 13-1 loss. Went 2 1/3, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Looking to build even more here in the playoffs than he needs to. We're down 5-0 against Bourne at Lowell Park. Cotuit's bats have been silenced by Parsley.
Well, we talked to him a little bit. He said, I've figured a bunch of stuff out since coming to the Kettleers. I had to kick off some rust in my first couple of outings, but he feels comfortable, and I think that's the reason why he's in this situation. Coach Mike Roberts wouldn't put in a pitcher, or at least wouldn't put Logan Adams in after his first or second appearance. But now, he's probably had some pretty good days, some pretty good bullpens. I have to imagine the 6th and the 7th, possibly the 8th are his.
The first pitch to Benjamin Huber is a strike. Good start for Logan Adams, who had trouble commanding the zone. Either leave it too high or too low. North to south was the issue. Looks like east to west, he was able to spot the fastball there on the outside corner. And another strike.
Adams going right at this hitter. This could help build some momentum for the Kettleers if he can have a quick inning.
0-2 to Huber. Fouled away, went with the fastball again. He can command and locate that pitch. He has velocity behind him. He's taken a lot off. This guy, when he entered, was throwing about 94, 95. Now at 91, seems to have more control. As we await another 0-2 pitch from number 51. Here it is. That's hammered to right center field. It will stay in the yard for Noah Bridges.
And even though that was solid contact, nothing but positive takeaways for Logan Adams. He hit his spot on every single one of those pitches, right around the 91-92 range, using the outside corner against a right-handed hitter. And that's the key. When you're down by 5, you need to throw strikes. You don't need to try and throw junk. You need to get out of the innings quickly, then turn it over to your bat. So Logan Adams, a good start here. Let's see if he can continue it with the bottom of the order coming up.
Against Colby Thomas, and immediately a fly ball to center. Jace Grady still going, and he can't make the play. It's off the wall. Thomas is heading for third base. He's quickly going to slide in. The play is not in time. Brett Roberts thought he had the tag applied. It's a one-out triple for Colby Thomas, his second hit of the game.
Well, and Jace Grady, not the best read on that baseball. I think he thought it was more shallow than it actually was. Hammered out towards deep center field. Tried to make an over-the-shoulder catch, almost like a receiver in football. Just couldn't track it. Now, once again, the Kettleers are going to have to work from behind. The runner in scoring position. You do not want to let another run come in. 5 is a tough ask as it is. Make it 6 would be very, very bad.
So Peter Burns, the lefty, is up, and he fouls it away. Infield now in on the grass. Any play to them, they're most likely going to go home, but Colby Thomas has plenty of speed as well. Good run on contact. The important thing is to get Peter Burns here, and then you have to face Christian Knapczyk. 0-1. Nice. Breaking ball. Backdoor slider there. Works perfectly. Gets in front 0-2. That's the first time we've seen anything other than a fastball from Maitland in this outing. It works at a good time. Catches Burns on his toes. 0-2 pitch. Half swing, line foul to the left side.
Like we said, a complete role reversal in this game. Surprising to see that the Kettleers' bats weren't very amped up. Maybe a little bit of comfortability.
And a slider in, check swing. The appeal down to third base. Mark Delaney says that he did not go around. But a good pitch nonetheless. A slider low and in. Located fairly well. See what he has to offer at 1-2. Here it is. And that hits him. Knapczyk gets it on the right thigh. He'll head over to first base, putting runners on the corners for the very hot Christian Knapczyk.
Yeah, it was Peter Burns that got hit, not Knapczyk. But Knapczyk coming up to the plate. Runners on the corners with only one out. And I still think it's a pretty good outing so far by Logan Adams. That was the one pitch that sort of got away, 81-mile-an-hour slider. If you're a hitter that gets hit, that's the type of pitch you want to get hit by. Nothing too fast, nothing too hard. Hit him on, the upper thigh on that right leg.
Looks like Burns will be okay. He'll run for himself at first base. Now Knapczyk. 3 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. Can't do much better than that in the leadoff spot.
If I'm Adams, I'm just worried about Knapczyk at the plate. He has 3 hits and an RBI. Don't try and throw over. He's had a couple of tough calls when he's tried to pick off runners, but you don't want to see him start to lose the zone here. Kettleers pitchers kind of just have seen Bourne Braves with too much real estate on the base paths this game.
The 1-0, Knapczyk will lay down a bunt. Adams will only have one play to first, and it was a bang-bang to Nathan Martorella. 6th run of the game comes in to score. Knapczyk gets his 2nd RBI of game 2.
Took a page out of the Kettleers book. Laid down a suicide squeeze, worked to perfection. It's a 6-0 ball game. I mean, it's simple as that. Bourne right now outplaying the Kettleers on pretty much every side of the baseball. 15 straight. Been retired for the Kettleers at the plate. 6 runs on 8 hits is what Bourne has created here at Lowell Park.
So Donlin will have a discussion with Logan Adams as Max Anderson comes to the plate for the 4th time. He's 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts to short and then a strikeout looking. Any of those results would be good for Logan Adams and the Kettleers defense, who now trail by 6 runs. The last 15 Kettleers hitters have been retired by Parsley. Wonder how long he will go for this Bourne squad, as they're trying to force a Game 3 at Dorn Park tomorrow. Strike at 91. And once again, Adams is ahead. It's just about finishing off the hitter. The 0-1 pitch. Low and away.
Notice Donlin keep popping up with runners on second base. He knows that Peter Burns isn't the fastest, but if he manages to get too far off second, expect Donlin to throw behind the runner, maybe get him out. Not give Max Anderson a chance to hit anything too hard.
The 1-1 pitch. Grounded over to EBJ. Short hops and ricochets. There's not going to be a play to first. And it just keeps going here in the 6th. Don't know how you'll score that. That is a very tough play for EBJ, but it is an error. Runners on the corners once again now for Dalton Rushing, the left-handed hitter. Talked about Matt Donlin. He was honored before the game with the John J. Claffey Outstanding New England Player Award. Coming from Yukon, here in the Northeast. Tries to frame up a strike. This time Adams will start behind in the count at 1-0.
I don't want to go back to that error by EBJ. We just never see that happening with him. That means it was a truly difficult play. But with that error, the Kettleers have had at least one in the last 7 games they've played. That's just ridiculous.
1-0 to Dalton Rushing. Way inside, 2 balls and no strikes. A few other awards were handed out today over at Harwich, where the Mariners' own Brock Wilkin was awarded the Pat Sorrenti MVP Award, and Trey Dombrowski received the BFC White House Outstanding Pitcher Award for the Mariners. So congratulations to those two, as it's now 3-0. Adams unable to find the zone here against Rushing. And I guess he'll walk over to first base. Is it intentional now? They went with the intentional walk, I believe, to bring up Tanner Schobel.
And I think that's the right call. Get a righty-righty matchup. Dalton Rushing, one of the top hitters on this team. Fortunately, the walk stat goes to Adams, but if you can manage to get Schobel here, it doesn't matter. But one swing of the bat can completely open this game up for Bourne.
Pretty slider to start off Schobel, who is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored, as well as a strikeout and a flyout. Keep it at 6-0. Cotuit's hope is as they want the offense to start clicking in the bottom of the 6th. Adams, chopper. Brett Roberts will just tag third base, and they will do just that. It's 6-0 after another run comes in to score in the top of the 6th. We turn it to the offense in the Kettleers Digital Network. Kettleers are going to have to come back from even more in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6 runs to their 0, with Suggs, Donlin, and Grady due up. But this has to be the time, as not only will lights start to fade away, there's only 4 innings left to be able to do so. There's a called strike. Suggs so far has only batted once and struck out swinging against Parsley. He was one of the 3 victims. Parsley hasn't needed to get the batters out on strikeouts. He's trusted his defense as Suggs tees up a high slider. And in center field, Joe Lampe will make the catch. Another quick out to start an inning, and this has been the outing for Parsley so far.
Well, and Parsley has retired his last 16 Kettleers after a leadoff hit for Jace Grady in the top of the 1st inning. So what the Kettleers really need is to try and knock him out of this game, but that's not going to happen if they continue to give him quick innings and no hits. Everything is working in the way of Austin Parsley. Let's see if it changes here with Donlin.
Donlin turns on a high fastball. It's foul, making it 0-1. He flew out to center field his last time up. Very similar to Matt Suggs' last out before Donlin came up here. The 0-1 holds off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewster beat Harwich last night 2-0. They took game 1 at Stony Brook Field. There's a possible closeout situation at White House tonight. Michael Prosecki getting the win in relief. Went 3 2/3 with 4 hits, no runs allowed, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Dale Stanovich got the save for Brewster, who had 8 hits and 8 strikeouts. Harwich 10 and 12 to their name. And Donlin gets underneath it and pops it up at foul ground. Anderson calling everybody off and making the play for the 2nd out. Quick outs. That has been the moral of the story offensively for Cotuit. Is that 17 now, Stefan?
Yes, that is 17 straight. And I mean, you take away that 1 hit, not only is he pitching a no-hitter, he's pitching a perfect game. No walks.
And the man that did get the hit against him is at the plate after a big cut. He's behind 0-1.
And Parsley's doing it pretty much on location alone. He doesn't have blow-you-away speed. He has tons of movement on his pitches. And he's been like this all season long. We knew he wasn't going to walk guys. 36 strikeouts to 1 walk this season. But in 3 games where he's started, he's won all of them. Right now, it's looking like it might be 4.
And if we didn't know before, Parsley is looking like the ace of the Braves. We may have put him in this spot thinking that it would be a closeout situation at Lowell Park and wanted to see him pitch on the road. As Grady takes in a strike at 89. Right now it is paying off for Harvey Shapiro as the manager. He won the Manager of the Year yesterday, so congratulations to Harvey and his staff, as well as the Bourne Braves. 2-2 to Grady. High fly ball to right field. Thomas will turn and watch it go. Back-to-back games with a home run. Jace Grady gets it started offensively for the Kettleers. And he was the one to expect to do that.
Well, he just hammered a pitch in on his hands. Gets the Kettleers on the board. First real blemish by Parsley, and this may be the end of the day. But it isn't Shapiro, so it is Eddie Marco coming out to have a conversation. Just cool him down a little bit. Hasn't had to be much activity over in that bullpen, but now he's probably saying, look, don't give him anything else to hit because the Kettleers are a streaky club. They will put together runs in a hurry. Jace Grady doing what he always does. Multi-hit game, a home run. If you take away Nathan Martirella's performance, you'd be hard-pressed to argue with me about maybe having Grady be the MVP of this series so far.
In the second half of the season, we've always highlighted Ritter and Brown, but Grady has operated by himself. Might as well call him the lone star in that regard in this situation.
Well done. I mean, a great supporting cast, of course, but Jace Grady, often a guy that flies under the radar because he's shorter, he is a defensive stud, but at times you forget his name a little bit. With Ritter, with Brown doing what they've done, of course with Bridges just exploding onto the scene, but Jace Grady might be the most consistent player on this team since he's joined the team. Of course, I think the all-around consistent player for the Kettleers is Eric Brown, but Grady, since he's joined this ball club, I mean, I remember his first game against Harwich, the 9th inning, got a home run in the first game he played, and it was hit from that point on.
Carter Trice unloads to center field. Lampy giving chase. It will stay in for the 3rd out. So Parsley gives up 1 run, a 5-run lead for Bourne as we head to the 7th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Kettleers got one back with a Jace Grady solo home run in the 6th. The score 6-1. Stephen Carey, Chris Carey on the Kettleers Digital Network, where they're looking to keep it at 6-1 with Joe Lampy, Hunter Jump, and Benjamin Huber coming up in the 7th inning.
Logan Adams back out for another inning of work. He allowed 1 run to come across to make it a 6-1 ball game. But other than that, he's hit his spots pretty well. Just like right there, 90 miles an hour and a called strike starts off Joe Lampe, who's 1 for 2 with a single, a run scored, and a walk. Adams goes upstairs again. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Couple interesting notes about the playoff games yesterday, particularly Harwich and Brewster. Adams will fire in the 1-1. Lampe will foul it off himself. Brewster took game 1 at Stony Brook Field. But what kind of conversation does that bring for today's game?
Well, you have an energized Harwich team, Stefan, that is really trying to get that game back, force a game 3, which would be at Stony Brook, much like this Bourne team has come out and proven at Lowell Park. That fun will start in a few minutes at 6 o'clock. Actually, it has already started. It's at the top 2 with no score, according to Tim Crowley.
1-2. Adams misses high and outside. And here's the thing about those games is the next series happens immediately after the conclusion of these 2 series. No off day guaranteed. If Brewster manages to win as Lampe bounces one towards Ritter and it gets off his glove, that's the second error of the game, and it's committed by the 2 most unusual suspects on this team.
Well, we have a case of the error bug with our 2 stars in the middle infield. And that is not good because you put the speedy Lampe on the base paths. You bring Hunter Jump to the plate, who had a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. The routine ground balls that they've been able to not make a play on is concerning here in this game because you're still trying to battle back. Now, offensively, they've been quiet as well. Need to figure it out together.
Wonder what the amount of errors is that the Kettleers have made over the last 7 games, the stretch where they've had an error in every single game. Wonder if we could pull that stat up. As Adams gets Hunter Jump to lift it out to left field. Suggs will make the catch. First out of the inning. So a good adjustment after a leadoff base runner in Lampe. Now he has Benjamin Huber. And if you can keep this at a 5-run lead, the Kettleers have plenty of time to put some runs across. Of course, 3, 4, and 5 are due up for the Kets after the stretch, but still, you don't want to let more runs come across to score. As the runner's going, Donlan's going to fire down to second. The tag is not in time. Eric Brown can't believe the call. Mike Beal had the best look at it. Once again, Bourne has managed to swipe a bag on Matt Donlan.
So over the last 7 games to end the season, I can pull up that stat. Cotuit committed 8 errors. And then yesterday, well, they had 2, and now they have 2 today. So that's 12 errors the last 9 games.
That's 1+ errors per game.
That is not a recipe for success.
1-1 count coming to Huber with Lampe standing in scoring position. See what Adams has for him. High fastball that misses. But I really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow if the Kettleers don't manage to mount a comeback. Dorn Park, like we said, a very difficult place to win not 1 game, but 2 games in a 3-game series and in the regular season. The Kettleers, one of the only teams in the league, if not the only team, as Eric Brown dives and makes a play, and he completes it. More than makes up for the error last inning. Kettleers have 2 down in the top of the 7th.
How about that? That ball was scorched on the ground. Eric Brown somehow gets to it quickly enough to dive with the extended left arm. Tosses a strike over to first for the 2nd out, but you still have to deal with Colby Thomas, who's had quite the day at the plate today.
Thomas, a single, a triple, and hit by pitch with 2 runs scored. Hope it stops here at the top of the 7th inning. First slider misses outside. But I was talking about tomorrow at Bourne Park. Kettleers already are struggling with starting pitching. If you tie the series with the momentum going in favor of Bourne, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to try and win a game without a typical starter, without much rest. It's that pitch slicing foul to the right side.
Well, I think we all agree is that the Kettleers really need to get back into this game. You know, this game is the one that they should close out. If they don't, then it becomes more uncomfortable. They had all the pride, all of the confidence going into this game, and right now Bourne has basically taken that all away.
Adams off the end of the bat, almost got it to stay fair, but it's 1-2. And I like Coach Mike Roberts' bullpen management today. I've had a couple of questions about it this season, but today he's used Kunkel and used Adams. Kunkel, one of the guys that has had some of the better performances this year out of the pen. Adams, a little bit shaky, but they've done their job for the most part. Save Max Gig, you save a couple more arms. The 1-2 comes in, and it's high and away. But you did use Logan Maitland to start this game. One of the top relief options for the Kettleers. He'll probably not be available for the next 2 games or so, along with Harrison Cohen. We probably won't see him feature until perhaps maybe tomorrow at the earliest, but that would be a very difficult ask for a guy that's gotten comfortable in the relief role. But Adams could get out of this inning with no damage with a strike here to Colby Thomas. The pitch. Lined out to center field. Jace Grady will move a couple steps in and make the catch. 6-1 your score. We'll go to the stretch on the Kettleers Digital Network. Well, here's something that Kettleers are going to be very relieved about. Austin Parsley is out of the game after 6 innings of work. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. The man coming in relief is Zach Agnos. Now, folks, you may recognize that name because Zach Agnos was one of the opening day starters for the Bourne Braves, came and played the Kettleers in their first meeting at third base. So Agnos, out of East Carolina, is now pitching. We managed to see him in the last game of the season. We stopped by to see our good buddy Reeves Jackson broadcast a game at McKeon Park, and Agnos came in for a very short outing, but an effective one. Sits around 93, 94 miles an hour.
And they're very confident in him. In his last outing, his only outing in pitching, he proved himself. Went 2/3 against Hyannis, had a strikeout, like you said, 92 to 94 miles an hour with the fastball. Didn't have to do much else. You know, only going 2/3, so small sample size. I'm wondering if he's going to go 1 to 2 innings here. But the people that he faces, or will face, are Ryan Ritter, Eric Brown, and Noah Bridges. So they're incredibly confident in his abilities here. And why not? The bats have been very quiet this game other than that one big home run in the 6th inning for Jace Grady.
I'm sure that was part of the decision that led into removing Austin Parsley from the game. But 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Let's see if they can have more success against Zach Agnos. He fires in a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That's about 4 or 5 miles an hour faster than anything Parsley was throwing. Agnos does have pitching chops. He is one of the guys that was recruited as a two-way player. As Ritter sticks the bat head out, and it will get out of play just behind the railing on the right field side.
And if he gets ahead in the count, that fastball at 95 is not an easy pitch to hit. I mean, 95 miles an hour for anybody. The Kettleers have been getting behind in the count a lot in this game, and it hasn't served them well. So Ritter needs to get aboard here to start this inning in the 7th.
0-2 from Agnos. And a disgusting slider. 85. Ritter didn't even know what was coming. He gets his first strikeout, and Agnos coming in and surprising the Kettleers.
This isn't your typical PPP, a position player pitching. This guy at 85 miles an hour, front door slider, absolutely froze Ryan Ritter in the right side batter's box. So much so that he looked up at the sky like, what did he just throw me?
First pitch to Eric Brown. Another slider. 84. There aren't very many pitchers in the league that you're going to be able to see doing this. And Agnos, what an adjustment to him from a playing standpoint. 0-1. Brown gets underneath it and pops it up. Let's see who gets it. Max Anderson calling everybody off. He'll make the catch just shy of the pitcher's mound for the second out of the inning. But as I was saying, Chris, Agnos started the season as a third baseman, struggled at the plate offensively. You can look at his numbers right here. It's not the best, hitting under 200 for the season. Max Anderson, of course, emerging as one of the big power threats on this team over at the hot corner. And he said, oh, well, maybe you might as well let me pitch.
And he wanted to find new ways to contribute. That's always the wonderful thing to see about the Cape League is sometimes guys get a second chance at a playing possibility in places they never thought that they would be.
This team trusts Agnos. From what Reeves Jackson told me after his outing against Hyannis, he moved from bottom of the depth chart in the bullpen to the upper half in just 2/3 of an inning of work, and right now he is dealing. Bridges is down to his final strike in the 7th. Let's see what Agnos has for him here. The 0-2. 86 slider.
And with 2 outs, I mean, you just have to try and tack on runs, but it looks like Agnos is just following and picking up right back where Parsley started.
And an 85-mile-an-hour changeup. Instead of going inside with the slider, he goes outside with the changeup. Kettleers had no idea what was coming. They go 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Kettleers going to use their fourth arm. It's Riley Hughey out of the College of Central Florida. He will have the 8th inning, possibly more. Logan Adams went 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, a walk, and had no strikeouts. This is a part of the order that you want to get out with Peter Burns at the plate. He's 0 for 2, but was hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. And Hughey's main concern has been finding the strike zone. Has good stuff, just hasn't been able to locate it. That one's foul tipped off the glove of Donlin, making it 1-1. Hughey right now, keep them off the scoreboard just like everybody else. But Bourne has been attacking. A very different situation. They have 8 hits and 6 runs. Kettleers, 1 run on 2 hits and 2 errors as he spikes that curveball in the dirt, making it 2-1.
Hughey this year 0-1 with a 12.7 ERA in 5 games. He's pitched 5 2/3, striking out only 2, giving up 7 walks and 10 hits.
It's not the best numbers for Hughey, but he places in a good fastball right at the knees to make it 2-2. Still quite the turnout here at Lowell Park. Everybody's still here hoping for a Kettleers rally. They do not want it to be extended to a Game 3 at Bourne Park, because that one is going to be a tough one to win. He tries going the other way with it. Good if it stays fair. It does not, just foul of the third base line.
Burns trying to go the other way with it. A pitch on the outside. Bourne's bats are just really seeing pitches well right now. I mean, 8 hits, 6 runs. Can't ask for much more than that considering the scoreline. Cotuit only has 1.
Two. Curveball in the dirt. He's trying the hook. It's dipping too far before it crosses the plate.
And the walk is not going to help us.
Three-two pitch. High fly ball lifted out to right center field. Bridges will watch it go. Peter Burns made it a 6-run lead for Bourne, and Hughey left that one over the middle of the plate.
A high-scoring affair continues. Hughey enters the game. Throws one right over the middle. And a home run to right center field. Coach Mike Roberts is going to have a discussion with his pitcher. I don't know if you go to the bullpen here. What do? You don't want to exhaust your arms. But in this situation, it's not fun for Cotuit right now at 7-1.
Well, that's the opposite of what the Kettleers needed. Lead-off home run to start off the 8th inning. Puts the Kettleers in an even deeper hole. There's no way Mike Roberts goes to the bullpen here. He needs those arms for tomorrow and potentially for the next day. Now we will see how this plays out here in the 8th inning. The top of the order coming up. Christian Knapczyk has been sensational at the plate today. 3 hits, including 2 singles, a double. A suicide squeeze that brought in his 2nd RBI of the game in the 6th inning.
It'll be scored 3 singles. However, he did end up at second base on the throw to home with that RBI.
Bounces this one to Brown. He fires it over to Martorella, and there's the first out of the inning. So good adjustment there by Hughey to get that ball on the ground, but still another run came across for Bourne. So try and get out of this inning quickly. In for a penny, in for a pound, right? Kettleers were down by 5. Now they're down by 6. Either way, you have to come back from a deficit in a very finite amount of time.
Certainly so.
Now Max Anderson's at the plate. Hugie drops one low, making it 1-0. Anderson 0 for 4 on the day. He did reach in the 6th on that error by Eric Brown. Hugie once again missing, that time with a changeup. Folks, be sure to stay tuned with Lauren Kirkley going into the 9th inning. She's going to give us a little update on the score for Harwich and Brewster. As Anderson drives one out towards left field, but it hooks just foul of the pole. Hugie giving up quite a bit of solid contact.
Especially middle in. That's the trouble. You don't want to go there with Max Anderson with the power that he possesses.
2-1, and Anderson shoots one the other way. Another hit allowed. That's the 10th of the game for Bourne. And they just keep pouring it on here at Lowell Park. Dalton Rushing will stand in. Little number, and it took the cover off the ball. That's one way to hit the cover off the baseball. Not the usual way that Dalton Rushing does it. This guy had 6 home runs and 24 runs batted in during the regular season, but in very unorthodox fashion. He put enough spin on the baseball, got it off the end of the bat. Pretty much have to throw that one out. But Hugie does get a strike out of it, so it's 0-1 for Rushing with a runner on first base. And again, another foul ball, and Rushing hit himself. He's going to have to walk that one off. I hate to see that. He's wincing a little bit, having a few words at himself.
That always has to hurt. Then you have to get back behind in the count at 2 strikes. Try and swing away. That right ankle is bothering you. In this game, in the situation of the 8th inning, you might as well have him swing away here. Whatever happens, happens. If it is the second out or he finds a way to put it in play, maybe use a pinch runner and make sure that he's okay. Because you'll need that bat most likely tomorrow if Cotuit can't come back.
0-2 pitch from Hugie. He needs a strikeout here. And instead, Rushing gets a base hit out to right field. Hung the curveball. Fortunately, not too much solid contact, just a single. 2 runners are aboard here in the top of the 8th. Back-to-back base hits, the 3rd hit of this inning. Of course, that solo home run that led off the 8th from Peter Burns to make it a 7-1 ball game. But again, Bourne threatening, and that has been a game-long mantra. Shell blow for 3 on the day. Had a strikeout in the 5th, but did walk and later score a run in the 4th. Hugie has another pitch miss upstairs. Another thing about Hugie is long innings. Comes in, you try to get 3 straight. He's just struggled to get out of innings quickly. Right now he's given up 3 hits. And there's a pass ball. May have been a wild pitch. Looked like it may have hit home plate. Now 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 out.
And Hugie is very slow in his delivery. He doesn't work quickly like some other relievers do on this staff. So it also eats up time there as well. Time that we may have with the 4 o'clock start time, but at 5 o'clock that wouldn't work as well.
Still a relatively quick game in comparison to what yesterday was. 3.5-hour battle. Schobel grounds one towards Ritter. He tries to apply the tag, but there's only one play at first. So Schobel does drive in a run by way of a ground out to the shortstop. It's 8-1.
That's the second RBI of the series. Good things keep happening for Bourne. They're doing the right thing, putting the ball at the right places and scoring runs even off of non-hits. So just coming in and making that happen. This entire order has been successful. Now you have to face Joe Lampe here.
Lampe has reached 3 times as that one skids away from Donlin. And I think we will go with a wild pitch on that one. Just yanked the slider. Fortunately, that didn't ricochet into the dugout for the Kettleers. Maybe bring up a question on if Rushing could have gone home. Lampe reached on an error by Ryan Ritter his last time up. Did have a single and later scored a run in the 4th, that big 4th inning where 4 runs came across. This 2-0 comes in and is bounced in the dirt. Good block by Donlin, keeping Rushing from coming home and scoring the 9th run of the game. "3-0 upstairs, and that's a 4-pitch walk. Joe Lampe gets aboard for the 4th time this game. Hugie picks up his first walk. The inning stays alive. Looks like there's a pinch hitter aboard for Bourne. It's Lucas Costello. Came in yesterday in replacement of Joe Lampe. Now he's replacing Hunter Jump. So you have to think that's going to be a defensive substitution. He'll take over in left field. His bat could drive in the 9th run of the game, if not more, if Hugie isn't careful. And another slider, low and inside. Hugie struggling to find the zone. You're down by 7. Just throw it over the middle of the plate, see what happens. Defense very capable behind you. 1-0. He does just that. Rips one just foul.
Just work the count, get ahead in it. You know, don't leave it too far over the middle, but throw strikes. If you have to take a little off, they punish you, but the walk certainly will prove to be more impactful on the game than a few base hits.
Runner going. Matt Donlin has no play. Costello was in the box. That's the 2nd stolen base by Joe Lampe in as many opportunities. So good day for him. Gotten aboard. He's put himself in scoring position, and now it's 3-1. Hugie's running the risk of loading up the bases for Benjamin Huber, who fortunately is 0 for 4 on the day. Has plenty of power at his disposal. 3-1. He gets one back on a very close call.
It's the 2nd time it's happened today. First it was Christian Knapczyk, and now John DiGirolamo calls a strike on the inside corner. Hopefully Hugie can do well with that gift behind the plate. Possibly throw a strike in here for strike number 3.
The 3-2. In on the hands, turn foul near the 3rd base bag. Brett Roberts hasn't seen a ton of action over there today. It's one notable play was the ground out with the bases loaded that ended the 6th inning. Tag to third base bag. Different here, not a force out if it comes to him. 3-2, and once again, slapped foul to the left side. Some activity in the bullpen. Ryan Dio warming up. Among others. Won't matter here, the 3-2. And he walked him. Bases loaded for the Braves, and it just keeps coming for the Kettleers with Benjamin Huber coming up to the plate. Back-to-back walks for Hugie. Bases are loaded. Mike Roberts is going to go to his bullpen. We'll be back on the Kettleers Digital Network with more after this. Fifth pitcher aboard for the Kettleers, and it is one of the most interesting stories this season. Ryan Dio started off as a bullpen catcher for the Cotuit Kettleers, and then has worked his way into a role as a relief pitcher. Submariner from the right side. He has the bases loaded. Bourne leads, and he throws behind the batter on the first pitch. This is one of the concerns. A little bit questionable, but it might be trying to save other arms. No disrespect meant to Dio, but control has been problematic. He's given up 5 walks this season in 5 innings pitched. He's good for a walk an inning. With those numbers, he could walk in the 9th run of the game. as Huber slaps one back, making it 1-1. Kettleers have quite the deficit to try and claw back from. Could be even larger. Dio can't manage to close the door here on Huber. 1-1. 69 to the outside corner, way up and away. It's 2 balls and a strike. Bourne fans are really excited to be here and very energetic. Had their tomahawk chop of sorts. Dio misses once again. Snap throw over to first. It gets away from Martorella. Rushing's going to come in to score. Lampy's rounding third. Bridges will fire in a throw. It is not in time. So 2 more runs come in for Bourne after a throwing error by Matt Donlin. Positive. Less worry for Dio on the base paths. Negative. Kettleers are down by 9. So neither of those runs will be inherited by Hughie. As Dio uses the front door, gets a called strike.
Just need one more here. 9-run difference.
3-2. And he got him. Gets out of the inning. 4 runs come across to score. It is 10-1. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Welcome back to Lowell Park. Our friends of the East began their game over at White House Field at 5:30. Brewster looking to sweep the series after defeating the Mariners 2-0 last night at Stony Brook Field. Brewster got on the board first, making the score 1-0 heading into the 4th. If Harwich can pull off a win tonight, they'll play again tomorrow. If not, Brewster will have an off day before heading into round 2. Things not looking too good for the Kettleers here at Lowell Park. Bourne has managed to create a 9-run lead and has just dominated the Kets both offensively and defensively tonight. Of course, this game is not over, but it's looking like Cotuit will take another trip back to Dorn Park tomorrow for the series. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lauren Kirkley. Postseason digital debut. Fantastic to have her with us. And this is a big, big conversation. How do the Kettleers respond if somehow Brewster manages to win this game against Harwich? You go into Dorn Park with Brewster getting a day off, with the loaded pitching staff that they have, with as successful as they've been in the regular season. You need to win the next game, obviously, but then you have to focus a little bit on Brewster. Same can be said about Bourne. No extra rest day.
Bourne has turned into a fire extinguisher offensively. This team has put it together on the base paths. Cotuit has not been able to create anything other than a Jace Grady home run.
Eldridge Figueroa breaks his bat. He'll chug, and it will get out of the hands of Knapczyk. So the Kettleers have a leadoff base runner. I think that one's going to be ruled a hit. It's going to be a tough play, and it is. So Eldridge Figueroa came in as a pinch hitter for Brett Roberts. He gets aboard. Didn't have the worst day at the plate yesterday either.
Well, this is the perfect thing to start mounting a comeback. I know 9 runs seems a little bit audacious, but, Nathan Martorella coming to the plate, Eldridge Figueroa, who brings speed to the table, coming in as well. Then you have the bottom of the order. If you could start putting it together, you never know. I mean, they haven't scored 9 runs in an inning, I don't believe, but I think they've scored 7. That would be a start.
And Martorella rips one down the first baseline. That's a fair ball. Figueroa's chugging into third base, and you have runners on the corners with nobody out. So Martorella keeps it going. Kettleers may have some life here. And a new hitter in for the Kettleers, making his debut for the Pinstripes, David Smith out of UConn.
And they want to just inundate Agnos with left-handed hitters here. He's batting in place of Matt Suggs. He's an outfielder. Donlin waiting on deck. Just keep it going. Best offensive inning so far.
Smith fouls one right back behind us. Make it 0-1. Cars beware. But Agnos, different inning than the seventh. He went 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts. Now a single and a double with runners on the corners. Kettleers may be able to put something together here. Smith. Fans on it. It's 0-2. I think a lot of this is trying to save the energy of some of your other players for tomorrow. I'm not saying the Kettleers are mailing it in, but I am saying they're being realistic. They have 6 offensive outs to work with. As Agnos buries a slider in the dirt, you don't want to throw out your main guys and have them potentially get injured. Plus, you get to see Smith get some hacks at the plate.
You never know when the bench bats are going to need to be used anyway.
Everybody needs to be prepared for any situation. 1-2 coming from Agnos. Smith swings and misses. That's strikeout number 3 for Agnos.
That's not what you wanted to happen there. A nice slider in. Got the lefty to bite. There's your first out of the bottom of the 8th, and Agnos can start to settle in and get more comfortable with runners on the corners.
Here's a question, Chris. Does Ryan Dio come out for the top of the 9th inning?
Not sure. It depends on the score line, truly.
Matt Donlin. Check swing, couldn't hold up. And that slider is gross. Horizontal action, tons of movement. Agnos looking like he should have been a pitcher from the jump. I'm not talking about Hunter jump. I'm talking about the beginning of the season. 0-1. That's been the pitch that's worked. Donlin holds up this time. But I'm assuming Dio comes out. You save another arm. Down by 9. Let him take the reins. Donlin up the middle, base hit. Eldridge Figueroa is going to come around to score the second run of the game for the Kettleers, and it is an 8-run difference now in the bottom of the 8th. Matt Donlin, back-to-back games with an RBI single. The one yesterday came in the 6th. One of those would have been nice in the 6th, but in the 8th, he manages to pull through with Will Gale coming up to the plate.
In place of Jace Grady, who has had a home run. Interestingly enough, so they're really offloading the bats here in terms of substitution. Putting speed on the base paths, however, Figueroa scored easily from second base. Actually, he was at third. He would have probably scored easily from second base after that base hit from Donlin. Now Gale, who had a base hit last time, he came up in the playoffs, is up again against Agnos, who's still trying to get settled in the 8th.
Yeah, and this completely tells me that they're trying to get some more comfortability. Tough play. Where's it going to go? Over to first. It's late. Bases loaded. Martorella's going to try to score. He will. And Donlin will slide in safely.
How interesting has this proven to be? So quickly gathering, Gale gets to first base. He talked about it before, about legging out plays. And Donlin, awkward slide into third, gets around the tag that did beat him.
So they're going to mark that down as an error.
Well, I think they might score it as a hit and then an error on rushing for the run scored. That would be the way that I would perceive that going about.
So Martorella came across to score on the E3. We'll go with that, Chris. No RBI given to Will Gale. But now, runners on the corners again, 10-3 ball game. Who knows what's cooking?
It is a hit for Gale.
So the hit for Gale moves Martorella over to third base. The throw was off the line. Martorella comes in to score. The RBI will not be given to Will Gale. But Donlin heads up base running. That's something that Coach Mike Roberts wants out of his players. As a new face steps in again, it's Trent Jeffcoat. And Gale's going. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. Will Gale providing the spark. And who knows what's going to happen here in the bottom of the 8th.
Cotuit trying to put something together here with one out. You have Ritter and Brown waiting after Jeffcoat. You just don't know what can happen here. And is that a balk?
They're going to say
that
that was a balk.
How about this? Wow.
Matt Donlin comes in to score. Agnos didn't come set. And the Kettleers get a free run, making it a 6-run ball game. 3 runs already here in the bottom of the 8th.
Mount this comeback. Keep riding high.
Jeffcoat now, and it hits him.
And Agnos is frustrated. That was beamed at Jeffcoat.
Starting to fall apart for Zach Agnos, and the Kettleers may be able to capitalize with Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown coming up to the plate.
This is not a fun situation by any stretch of the word. You have a bullpen warming up in a situation where the middle of the order comes in. Agnos, who is visibly frustrated after a very successful 7th inning, going 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts. Now here, runners on the corners for one of the best offensive players in the CCBL. I think they're going to go to the bullpen here, Steph.
I think so as well. We'll find out who it is with the Kettleers mounting a bit of a comeback here in the bottom of the 8th on the Kettleers Digital Network. Benjamin Etheridge is the new pitcher aboard. With only one out, the Kettleers have runners on the corners. They've managed to plate 3 runs this inning. There's a little bit of life here late in this game. They do not want to extend it to a game 3. Etheridge is going to have 3, 4, and 5. But if he can get through Ryan Ritter and Eric Brown, that could be it in the 8th. It's a tough, tough ask. Both of those guys yet to reach base, yet to have a hit. 0 for 6 combined. They're due for a hit right now.
Yeah, well, this would be as good of a time as any for Ritter, the hitter, to come out. He's been in his hole this game. 0 for 3 so far.
Agnos responsible for 2 earned runs so far. Of course, 2 runners on the base paths right now. Etheridge throws over to first. Ritter still looking to extend that 12-game hitting streak if you take into account the regular season. But if he can get aboard here with a hit, it'll be a 2-game hitting streak in the postseason. So try and be excited about that. Etheridge's first pitch. Slider downstairs. That was at 87.
And he has to be in a situation where he's kind of uncomfortable. I know you have a 6-run lead, but Cotuit's offense has started to do something in this inning with 4 hits. Etheridge is very concerned with Jeffcoat at first. He has speed. Kettleers have been able to steal the bases a couple of times, already 3 in this game against Peter Burns behind the plate. That matches their total from yesterday.
1-0 to Ritter with Jeffcoat at first and Gale at third. And it's upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to load up the bases and give Eric Brown the chance for maximum damage.
Especially with the power that he possesses.
(2-0) from Etheridge. Bounced foul to the left side. Ritter was way out in front of that one.
Dead red on the fastball there, just was early, fouls it away. You allow Etheridge to get back in the count at 2-1, but still hitter friendly.
Like you said, Chris, a hitter's count. Ryan Ritter has a big hole on the right side. Sizable one on the left as well. 2-1 pitch. He was out in front on that slider.
And Ritter needs to get aboard here. I mean, there's no other way around it. They've been so good as a 1-2 punch. Etheridge, don't allow him to get comfortable, but great slider there away. Fooled him.
Put pressure on him with the bases loaded. Never know what can happen. You talk about that revolving door we brought up time and time again this season. You have the threat of walking in runs, guys hitting in runs, and if the bases are loaded, grand slams. (2-2). Ritter swung at a ball way out of the zone. A deceptive slider retires number 10. Walk to the dugout. He's 0 for 4 on the day. Eric Brown coming up to the plate. Let's see if he can keep this inning alive.
I don't want to say this is the Kettleers' last chance to really strike, but they need to do something big and drastic here in the 8th to bring it closer.
Eric Brown calls time. One of the most cerebral players on this team at the plate. Had his hitting coach in a few games ago, and I think that's really retooled him as a ball player. But mentally, he outthinks a lot of players in this entire league. First pitch in the dirt. He thinks about the count quite a bit. Talk about an approach. Spoken to him a few times just about how he thinks about his ABs, just digs his foot in the ground, gets aggressive. Base hitter more here would be nice. 1-0. High and tight, 2 balls and no strikes.
And you know Etheridge is concerned about Eric Brown. You know, he's had 3 appearances against Cotuit and has done fairly well, but he knows Eric Brown all too well. Had 2 innings against Cotuit and then another 3 on July 18th.
2-0 fires in an 88-mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner. Looking to see what Brown can do here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Line drive out to right field, sliding and making the catch. Unbelievable effort by Thomas, and once again, Eric Brown not rewarded for his efforts. Kettleers plate 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Will go to the 9th on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Top of the 9th inning, Dio against Thomas, Burns, and Knapczyk. The bottom of the order has been plenty successful against the Kettleers. Thomas already has 2 runs scored as well as a triple. Dio coming in to record the last out of the 8th inning, which was a strikeout swinging against Benjamin Huber. Has to throw strikes here. Popped up to left field. Suggs looks to be coming on to make the catch. Was that Suggs? No, it's Smith. It's Smith in left field with the defensive substitution. Gale in center. Eldridge Figueroa at third base. And that rounds it out. My apologies. Smith in left field out of Yukon. Gale in center. And then Eldridge Figueroa at third base. But a good first out from Ryan Dio. First pitch at 62 miles an hour against Peter Burns is outside 1-0.
Well, and for him, it's just about throwing the ball over the middle of the plate. Throw strikes. He's not here to blow guys away. You just don't want to walk people and have these innings get extended. Not just for the sake of this team. They're already behind by 6 runs. They're itching to get back up to the plate. Had a little bit of momentum. It gets sucked out if you have long innings.
That also gets sucked out if you walk people, as Dio's behind 3-0 against Peter Burns, who had a solo home run against Riley Hughie to lead off the 8th. There's a 4-pitch walk, bringing up Christian Knapczyk. The expectation at this point is to let Dio go. Hopefully no more runs come in. It's a 6-run ball game. Maybe the offense can keep it going, you know. They could double the amount of runs they scored in the 8th. They'd have 6 tying up the game. There's a strike. 63. Kettleers faithful are still loud and proud here in the 9th. Dio blocked in the dirt by Donlin. 1-1.
61. Sometimes the speed of those pitches can be a good thing rather than a bad thing. Guys so used to seeing low to mid 90s on a fastball.
61.
You have to be able to hit your spots. And Dio has the best attitude about coming into these scenarios. He understands that pitching isn't his main role. Southern New Hampshire, he's a catcher. That's what he came here to learn. But such a need was presented for pitching. He stepped into that role, and right now he's doing the Kettleers more of a service than a disservice by walking guys and pitching this inning. He's saving an arm for tomorrow, and that is something that is very important to note.
Certainly so. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Christian Knapczyk. Haven't been able to find much of an answer for him. A pair of RBIs, 3 singles, and now a walk. Back-to-back from Ryan Dio. Put it in perspective, Stefan. Kettleers have walked 8 batters already in this game. As Anderson chops one in the hole, Ritter, long play, he won't make it.
And I like the awareness by Ritter there. Tried to throw it to get the lead runner. Would have been the easiest play to Eldridge Figueroa. He wasn't covering. Now the bases are loaded. Guess who? Dalton Rushing.
You have a lefty-righty matchup now. To Dio's credit, drew light contact to the infield. But deep in the hole as Figueroa was playing toward the third base bag. Ryan Ritter once again showing off his range. But had no play to make. So Dio now with the bases loaded and 1 out faces Dalton Rushing. And misses at 64.
Can't start walking in, guys. Honestly, at this point, truthfully, in terms of this game, letting him get a hit might be better.
1-0. Fouled away. It'll sneak just past the seats. Alan Gladstone put his hand up to try and catch it. Him and Glenn Ware having a nice time out there, regardless of the score.
And think about walking in runners, right? At least if you get a base hit, 2 runs might score, open up a spot. But if you walk guys, bases continually stay loaded. The inning does not end. It just continues and continues and continues. Ryan Dio just needs to fire in a strike. Whatever happens, happens. Kettleers are down by 6, and they only have 3 more outs at the plate.
2-1. 3-1.
I'm just going to say it. I don't understand why they're dancing around Rushing this much. Dio's coming in. He's eating innings. I don't understand why they're not just throwing it to him. Lining up outside.
See right there. Popped up.
You give it over the middle of the plate. There's no guarantee he's going to hit it off you, but the guarantee is if you don't throw strikes, he's going to walk. And you're going to walk in runs. And then you have to worry about the next Bourne Brave hitter.
Three-two. Swing and a miss. And what do you know? Got his second strikeout. Now the base is loaded with 2 outs and Tanner Schobel coming up.
All Ryan Dio needs is 1 more out. That's his second strikeout of the game. And trust your stuff. Went upstairs with that pitch. Rushing. Couldn't get anything on it.
The shift is on now. Martorella playing directly behind the first base bag. Now moving to his left. Eric Brown right behind second. Left side of the infield is in their normal positioning. But Dio now 2-0 with 2 outs.
Again, don't want to lose him here. Did a good job of battling back against Rushing. Got the strikeout. Same thing can be said. You do not want to give them an even bigger lead if the Kettleers can manage to put together any type of comeback in the bottom of the 9th. But now it's 3-0. I don't know what this is. If it's just not a ton of comfortability with pitching or whatever it is. It's no discredit to Ryan Dio. But he has pitches like that. Drops it in. Good location. Don't dance away from these batters. Down by 6. Just fire in strikes. That's all you need to do.
3-1. Popped up. Noah Bridges is under it. And 3 will be stranded on the base paths. It's still 10-4 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, where the Kettleers will try to mount a 6-run comeback or more on the Kettleers Digital Network. Bottom of the 9th inning for the Cotuit Kettleers Digital Network. Chris Carey, Stephen Carey, and a new pitcher on to close it out for the Bourne Braves. It's Eric Adler, who is their primary closer. He's gone 2-0 with a 1.14 ERA. In 15 games has 7 saves, 15 and 2/3 innings pitched. Eye-popping 29 strikeouts, 7 walks, and 6 hits. This is a guy that goes in and gets the job done, and with 6 runs to have to the Bourne difference against Cotuit, he is attempting to do just that against Bridges and probably Eldridge Figueroa and Nathan Martorella being the suspects waiting on deck. So Adler out of Melbourne, Florida, and Wake Forest University. In his last start against Hyannis, went an inning, gave up an earned run, a hit, 2 walks, and a strikeout. We need about 7 walks, 6 runs, and a couple of hits to make this work. But it all starts with Noah Bridges, who has a pair of strikeouts and a groundout on his 0-for-3 day. But Cotuit, positive sign in the 8th inning, were able to score 3 runs. They just need to double that total to tie it up here in the bottom of the 9th. First pitch to Bridges. Up the middle. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. Good start for Cotuit here in the 9th.
This is the part of the order that got things going last time. Figueroa had an infield single. Then Martorella had a single. Then Matt Donlin had a single. Then, of course, Will Gale had a single. So have a bunch of guys that can hit. Noah Bridges, good piece of hitting there. Saw the first pitch he liked on the outer half of the plate. Dropped the bat head. He's aboard with nobody out.
And Eldridge Figueroa had a single his last time up. It was an infield broken bat single. Needs another one here, showing bunt. And Burns pulled back. It's 1-0. You want to have Adler start walking guys, especially with power awaiting. You have contact in terms of the substitutions that have been made via the pinch hitters and defensive replacements. They've been capable in the playoffs. Needs something from Figueroa here as he takes a strike on the outside corner at 98 miles an hour.
Well, this is what a closer looks like.
6'3", 195 pounds. And that's going to be tough to hit.
Talk about pitching depth for Bourne, too. At the beginning of the season, they had Reggie Crawford. He was throwing 102. He didn't even pitch. Now they have this guy who throws upper 90s. Kettleers have Will Jacobson and used to have TJ Brock, but they haven't faced very many guys that can throw this high. They have when they've been playing Bourne, though, that's for sure.
Adler low set. Now from the stretch, 2-1 pitch. Fouled away. So he gets himself back into the count. Strikeout here for him with a runner at first would be good for him to start. It's going to be hard to get a good jump against a guy who throws 98 miles an hour. Just going to leave that out there.
No, Bridges is quick, but I don't know if Coach Roberts values runners in scoring position over base runners.
2-2. Chopper to second. Flip to second. Over to first. There will be no play. Figueroa legs it out.
Yeah, it does make the throw, but Figueroa too quick.
4-6 fielder's choice. You replace speed with more speed and put power into the box with Martorella, who had a single and then scored on an error in the 8th inning. But all of this momentum really started after an out was recorded. You really need your offense to buckle down here in the 9th. First pitch from Adler in the dirt at 88. I think that's a changeup.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eldridge Figueroa running here, just to get him some comfortability stealing bags. Maybe a little hit and run situation with Nathan Martorella.
1-0. Doesn't get the call. Peter Burns tried to pull it into the zone. He caught it with the forehand, then framed it with the backhand, and the umpire behind the plate, John DiGirolamo, wasn't buying it one bit.
Yeah, in short, not the best frame job on that one, but you know, you got to try and steal some sometimes.
And that runs way inside to Martorella, a 3-0 take incoming.
Yeah, I don't think Martorella's swinging here, and now he might get a board for the second time this game. Second time in as many innings. Just keep the inning alive for the Kettleers. You never know what can happen. It's the playoffs.
3-0 from Adler, and he did take a swing at it and foul it away, surprisingly so. We'll see what he does at 3-1.
Well, it's no harm, no foul, right? That was going to be called a strike, close enough. Why not swing at it? See what you can do. That's the prime situation to get a pitch down the middle, particularly a fastball, and Martorella was waiting for it.
3-1, queued up the middle. Bouncer to Knapczyk, second to first. A 6-4-3 double play ends it for the Kettleers. Adler closes the door. It's 10-4 finish, and we will have to play a Game 3 at Doran Park.
Kettleers are going to have to wait another day to try and make it to the championship game. Be tomorrow at Doran Park, 6 o'clock. Be sure to tune into the Kettleers radio network for that game. Always a great contest. Kettleers bats came to life in Game 1. Bourne did the same in Game 2. Looking to see what Game 3 holds.
From our entire crew, Owen Zides, Jack Roberts, Tim Crowley, Lauren Kirkley, I'm Chris Carey alongside my brother Stephen Carey. Cotuit has a lot of work to do tomorrow. We'll see you on the Cotuit Kettleers radio network at 6 p.m. at Doran Park. Hope you have a wonderful night. Keep rooting for the Kets. We'll see you tomorrow.